end, hopefully. Hang on. Right, I think we're live now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the New World Order, the global climate dictatorship. I trust that you're all flagellating yourselves as you listen to this, because you know you should be. How are you guys doing? You all right? Well, now's the time. Like, right, sorry. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Vladimir Putin is just rubbing his hands, you know. Russia isn't actually that bad a polluter either. The US is 16%, which is the second largest single block, but China's 29%. I mean, what the fuck, man? Big fans, I hear. Very, very concerned about this kind of thing. Yeah, I love the way Trump says China. China. And I'm currently watching that video of the gay guy twerking at the climate protest with an erection in these short shorts, and it's just like, I mean, it's just in public, just in the middle of. Why? This is just attention-seeking bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, that is really the question, isn't it? I mean, there was one where it was literally a bunch of fat, well, not fat, but like chubby, I guess I would call them, like naked people. There was one fat naked woman in a bathtub, and people were peeing on her. Yeah, in a bath, peeing on her because. Well, I mean, I guess there's that silver lining. But it was all rather disgusting in every possible way you could imagine, and I'm just like, what? Why do we consent to this? They seem rather proud of it. I mean, it was a pride parade, so I'm just saying, I don't think we can shame them out of this. Yeah. And I've honestly got to the point where I've. Well, that just goes to show you that I haven't got the chat working yet, doesn't it?
No, I can. I turned on the stream to watch it. I wanted to just watch the stream, and then all I can hear is like silence and you laughing to yourself. I'm like, it's happened. See, no one can hear me saying this.
He's gone.
No, they can. I fixed it. Everyone can hear you calling me a boomer.
All right, everyone. All the jokes and witty one-liners that you came up with the last 5 minutes. We got to say them again.
Sorry,
the first thing you hear is, let's rewind.
Right, yeah. Well, I can't even remember. We're all gonna die is the premise. Apparently, it's gone down from 12 years to 8 years now.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Has anyone actually ever looked at the history of climate predictions? Because
we've all seen an inconvenient truth. If you watch an inconvenient truth now, it's hilarious.
Yeah, right. The Arctic is going to have no ice on it by 2006 or something, or 2012.
Yeah, and by 2014, the world will have irretrievably the world will be on fire, and everyone will have died.
Half every coastal city has disappeared. Yeah, exactly. And what's left is just a blazing infinity. Yeah. Obviously, none of that happened. But if you go back to like the 70s, in the 70s they were predicting famines, they were predicting ice ages, and it's just like, okay, but none of that happened. Like none of it happened.
Yeah, but this time we'll get it right.
Yeah, exactly. This time they have it, and I think what it is just that it's such a fucking complex system, and I think it's actually hubris for them to think, oh, we've mastered this now. Well, we can predict with certainty that this is going to happen. It's like, yeah, I don't think you're that smart. That's the thing. I think this is what this comes down to.
Oh, apologies, my audio is a bit rough. I'm on my phone.
Gruff.
That's all right, man. You actually sound better than I expected.
All right, yeah, I've changed my settings. It was appalling the other day. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Luckily, the chat is saying audio is working, and we're actually quite balanced. So for once.
Oh wow,
that's good.
Yeah, I'm.
What a freak accident! That was good.
Well, it's just too bad that the chat missed that great tub girl conversation.
Yeah, we were talking about protests. There's a
the
video
protests
going around at the moment of a climate protest that's degenerated, and I mean that literally, into into a gay guy twerking with an erection in short shorts.
How do you know he's gay?
I just assume that's a prejudicial.
You just assume that everyone who twerks with their dick hanging out in public is gay.
All the pride flags seem to give it away.
Maybe he's just in solidarity with his gay brothers and sisters.
That's entirely possible, and I'm not going to rule it out. But
he's not gay rags, and you're not a furry.
Oof! Below the belt.
I just met one once. I like the aesthetic. I like because they're expressive.
I just like wearing the underwear. Okay.
So can't listen live. Shekels with appreciation. Oh, thank you, Tim. More CO2 is great for bug and bug horses. I don't know what a bug horse is, but did you guys see the Amazon on fire stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that was hilarious.
It was amazing watching Bolsonaro BTFO Macron on Twitter. I've never seen something as hilarious as this. Macron.
I must have missed this. What's going on?
Right. So basically, every year there are fires in the Amazon. I didn't know this, and neither did the leftist climate activists, because apparently on Twitter, Macron had posted pictures of the Amazon on fire. Only it turned out these pictures were from 2012 or 2016 or something, because this happens every fucking year. And Macron was like, "Oh my god, the lungs of the earth are burning," and everyone started freaking out, hundreds of thousands of retweets and then Macron just starts retweeting, going, "That's not true. This is all bollocks. This is fake news." And this whole thing, not only did it turn out that the Amazon fires were not unusual, simultaneously there were larger fires in the Congo, and nobody cared. And not only that,
no one gives a shit about
but
Africa.
not only that, the Amazon is not the lungs of the world. Loads of actual scientists, actual climate scientists who are when we care about data, had to come out and point out that actually the lungs of the Earth are actually the oceans, because they're huge, and algae and whatnot, surface.
They also lied about it being a record-breaking amount. It's actually a very normal amount.
Yeah, it
and
wasn't
most of the fires. Most of the fires aren't man-made.
Massive. There are thousands upon thousands of fires. Fuck, there's hundreds raging almost every day.
But the point is, none of it was true. They all got really worked up, and then they started yelling that Bolsonaro is a fascist for not doing anything about it. And it was just you guys could just sit down. Just sit the fuck down. Twitter is... I think... Macron started it, though. Macron started it. It wasn't just some rando fucking Owen Jones blogger. Fucking...
I think it was pretext, in my opinion. I think they tried to use it as a pretext to attack Bolsonaro. Like anything.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when normal stuff happens with Trump.
Given the way that they're talking about the climate dictatorship that we need to fix the planet, it does seem like that's the case. Arch, am I making that up?
Oh no, this is yet another wonderful invention of Sweden, which is one of the reasons why we should nuke that instead of Japan next time.
Well, in defense of Sweden, there was also a Norwegian professor who said the same thing.
Disavow. Probably immigrant.
No,
probably an immigrant.
But the thing is, the reason why they want a climate dictatorship is because they have worked themselves up into such a tizzy now that the only solution is the most extreme one.
Yeah.
We need to ban cars. We need to stop all oil production in the next 10 years, at which point oh shit, half of our infrastructure relies on this. Well, fuck. I guess we all die then.
Imagine thinking they're going to manage stopping all oil production in 10 years. Just it's not going to fucking happen. Just
the best part is we had a woman on the Norwegian television. Norway has our living standard is entirely due to oil. Yeah. And the host asked her straight out, stopping all oil production, you know what that's going to mean for our economy, right? We are going to be sent back to fucking everybody's going to have to run a farm. And she's just
I love
the real question about economy is that we're all going to die if we don't. Good, reasonable.
It's hilarious because they're talking about green technologies and wind farms, and all of these function on, modern engineering materials, which all require fossil fuels to either manufacture or make. It's like, we need to leave all the fossil fuels in the ground. It's like, okay, we don't have plastics anymore.
Well, not to mention, fossil
goes far enough.
Is one of the primary industries that is actually researching into renewable fucking energy because they're energy companies.
Yeah, but why do we have to leave fossil fuels in the fucking ground? What good are they doing there?
It's like, okay, how about we have a world without plastics and fertilizer?
If we don't use fossil fuels, that meteor hit Earth for nothing.
Right? That is exactly, unironically my opinion on it, right?
Shut the fuck up, Greta.
Yeah,
the dinosaurs would want us to burn them.
Exactly.
They would want us to.
Well, they wouldn't want us to waste it. Do you think, they're not, obviously they don't want that.
This is what Barney would want.
This is what Barney would want.
Well, Scrump, you're definitely right about the plastics because, I mean, you mentioned that the lungs of the world are the oceans, and the oceans are in bad shape right now, but it's definitely more because of plastic waste than it is because of burning fossil fuels.
Yeah.
It's not Western countries, though. It's the fucking... If you look at
it's
the
Chinese,
Far East... Yeah, if you look at the Far East, they are something like 20 times bigger plastic polluters than, like, the rest of the world, because they just literally throw their shit in the ocean.
I completely agree. The West did absolutely nothing wrong throughout its entire history.
And you know what? It's Western people who are going out in Western boats with Western technology cleaning the oceans, cleaning up somebody else's mess.
Let me find you the chart, actually, because it's fucking insanity. Somebody sent me this the other day. The amount of plastic pollution that the Far East makes.
Yeah. There is a huge fucking island of plastic.
That plastic is a big issue, and that we need to find solutions to fix it. Absolutely. But it would be even easier if we could just simply fix it at the source.
There goes you and your good ideas again, Mark.
What, invade China?
Well, that's what Sweden's proposing, actually.
Basically, yes, the climate dictatorship would basically be like, if you don't obey our rules, we're going to crush you with military might.
Yeah, because it's the end of the planet. I mean, literally, you can't find a higher justification. The entire planet's going to die if we don't invade China. So...
It's beautiful. It's the ultimate greater good. There is no crime that cannot be justified here.
Yeah. Look forward to getting conscripted. That's all I'm saying.
Right, I put it in the symposium, but these figures are from 2010, by the way. It's only got worse.
Okay, hang on.
60%. That's almost impressive.
Yeah. I mean, North America and Europe and Central Asia. I like the way Europe and Central Asia are just packaged together.
Yeah.
There is nothing.
There's no difference. There's no difference in culture, population, or anything. It's fine.
Yeah. But there's very little we can do. But anyway, fix your boomer audio. Yes, sorry, James. Socialism 666. Check out Dr. Valentia Zarkova's work. I will put it into a tab so I can do after the stream. I feel so bad for this girl. Would better all be bursting into flames in 12 years, or there's going to be hell to pay for this child indoctrination. Honestly, I think she's going to kill herself. Have you seen the GIF where Trump walks in front of her and completely ignores her? Yes. Now that was an excellent move by Trump, because the question is, as the leader of the free world, what do you do about a sort of like a really aggressive child zealot? And Trump just does the absolute Chad thing and just ignores her. You can see the anger on her face as well. And the thing is, I saw an interview of her previously where she's like, "Oh, I've got nothing to say to Donald Trump," and yet you can see her looking to catch his eye and get his attention. And it's like, really, you got a lot to say to Donald Trump. Don't give me that. Come on. But the more important thing is, what do your parents have to say to him? Because they're going to have written down a little speech.
Yeah, they're the ones who told you what to say anyway.
Yeah. Oh man, her parents pretending like this is all her idea. It's like, well, how did she get to there? Who's funding all of this? She's not doing it from a fucking paper round, is she?
And no one's had their hand up their child's ass this far since the Pride parades. So.
Disavow.
Dab on the gays.
Totally disavow. YouTube, he's got a different channel to me. Don't come and demonetize mine.
It's not mine.
It is. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Scrump, you're off.
I'm so toxic I can't have my own channel. I'm like a hot potato. Oh, come on. They're not going to ban me for saying dab on the gays.
Have we seen Dinesh D'Souza's tweet about Greta? I think I did, actually, but I can't remember what it was. Anyone have any ideas?
No, I don't know.
No? Okay.
Nope.
I bet Greta ends up killing herself in the future because of being told she's got no future, having all this tension slowly fade away. Well, yeah. And she's a victim of Munchausen by proxy. She's sick, and the disease is climate change, so everyone else is responsible. For anyone who's not familiar, basically this is something that mothers do quite regularly, where they're essentially trying to keep their children sick and feed into their delusions and things like this. I'm no expert on it, but it's not very nice, and it does seem to be some sort of pathological disorder. Man, David Starkey, these people are obsessed with a Rousseau-esque worldview that man makes the world worse. It's the most pathologically narcissistic, primitivist hubris possible. Alex Jones gets it. Believe it or not, Alex Jones does get this, and I agree. I don't think that man is perfect in his most primitive form, believe it or not.
No.
Because some of the stuff he did in his most primitive form was really gross. And, Dr. Felix, I have no idea why she's got stubble there either. But yeah, so, like... I mean, what the fuck? Like, is this can't possibly like burn itself out though, can it? It's too big.
You've seen all the climate justice stuff though, right?
What, like the Extinction Rebellion protests?
No. The whole thing about that we need to pay reparations for climate change.
Oh, no, but doesn't
you have not seen this?
I don't think so.
It's amazing. Let me get you a link. I have a link here. It's holy shit.
Yeah. Well, just read out whatever pertinent part is relevant.
It's from the laborist.org.
The Laborist. Is that
yes, this was written by a sitting Labour councillor, by the way. 5 ways Labour can learn from young climate strikers.
Right, okay, yeah. Go on, you old fogies. You know nothing and the kids know everything. This is not the cult of youth or anything. Carry on.
Number 3 is climate reparations.
Right.
Climate reparations.
Despite the lack of
education to who?
Despite the lack of honest education about the British Empire, the youth strikers have shown a poignant understanding of the relationship between the climate crisis and the UK's colonial history.
Ooh.
Colonialism was the original extractivist economy policy upon which modern capitalism is built.
That's a
Capitalism's insatiable pursuit of extreme growth has escalated us into climate breakdown. The climate crisis gives the UK a unique opportunity to reflect on its history in the world and rebalance power dynamics through climate reparations,
right?
And paying our climate debt.
The Soviet Union wasn't an industrial economy or anything, was it? I mean, they didn't manufacture anything in factories or anything like that, did they? It's purely capitalism that's responsible for this, isn't it? We
must use this internationalist framework to ensure the climate transition can help keep racial and class justice at its heart.
Well, there we go.
Pretty sure the Soviets used a hammer and sickle, not just a sickle.
Exactly, right. But this whole thing, I'm positive, is basically a vehicle for socialism, like a global socialist dictatorship. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like they're asking for. What else? What are we supposed to take away from this? We have to end capitalism and create a one world government to save the planet. So it's going to be a socialist, globalist government.
I would also like to point out one inconvenient truth, if you give me a lift.
Go on then, Mr. Gore.
If the West is indeed producing far less pollutants and far less plastic, would that not mean that our climate change problems would be considerably less if we had continued on with colonialism?
Well, it's a stunning and brave defense of the British Empire and how we need to invade the rest of the world again. But on the plus side, it does make us align with the climate dictators who want to invade China. So, I mean, I don't see a problem with that.
See, Hitler was right, okay? he was an environmentalist. He was going to be a dictator. He was just ahead of his own fucking time.
This is just Greta Thunberg's opinion coming from your mouth, isn't it, Arch?
Well, I mean, she's trying to go through Germany too. What's the difference?
Seriously, though, like the way that she's talking in that most recent speech, where she's essentially threatening a dictatorship, the politics aren't ready. It's like, oh God, what does that mean? Change is coming whether you like it or not. It's like, oh fucking hell, what are we looking at here?
Oh no, little 14-year-old girl, don't threaten me. I can't.
It's not going to be her, is it? Obviously. But it's going to be all the people who say, yeah, well, you know what? Greta's really upset by this, so we have to do this. Sorry, fuck your civil liberties. Greta's crying. Look, I mean, okay, her parents are actors, and her grandfather is a director, so, it does look all rather, contrived, but they're real tears, so give up your fucking liberties.
I wouldn't even go that far. I have seen better child actors in Home Alone.
Well, that's because they had better child actors, but... well, they're probably not being paid more than that, but
speaking of child actors, next thing they'll retcon her into being in Sandy Hook. But anyway,
David Hogg strikes back. Right, so basically, I think we're all fucked. I think they're going to ruin everything for everyone all the time. And you know what's interesting, right? Is the the Green New Deal. The guy who designed that wasn't Cortez, obviously, but he said initially it wasn't really a vehicle of climate activism; it was a vehicle of socialism. It just happens that dovetailed with what he wanted. It's like, oh, that's wonderful for everyone, isn't it, buddy? Like, I don't know, man. It's like there is a real problem with socialism, and everyone's like, oh, but this all like the socialists and the intersectional types of stuff that they're low hanging fruit, and I'm like, dude, they're fucking everywhere. And they're really important positions in the world. Like, if this was Tumblr blogging, I'd ignore it. I wouldn't give a shit.
There was quite literally a worldwide protest where governments were closing schools and making the children march in activist marches.
Yeah.
Under the guise of rebellion.
Yeah. This
isn't just, Ben Shapiro owning the feminists with facts and logic.
Yeah.
They invented a fucking what was the name of it? The prize thing. Nobel's Prize. They invented a Nobel Prize for, which by the way would make Nobel turn in his fucking grave.
What, was he a fascist?
No. Everyone was.
Well, good point. Touche. Well, go on. Why would Nobel turn in his grave?
Nobel was an interesting person. The inventor of dynamite, his most important invention. Mm-hmm. They created the Nobel Prizes about all kinds of things, but like this, like socialism, oh God,
not a fan.
He would not be fond of that.
Good on him. So yeah, basically we're all fucked. What else has been going on?
Oh, Labour. We should talk about Labour.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's so good.
So, I've set Callum and Johnny going through it and finding like clips and timestamps. So, because it's like 6 hours long, I'm not going to fucking watch it. I've got things to do. But I employ people who can watch it. So when Callum listens to the stream, if he does, that's what you get. No, but he's just given me a quote from it. People have been raped and murdered for simply having a different point of view. And he's like, name one person who's been raped for having a different opinion. And so I just replied to him, get down, Mrs. Phillips.
Well, yeah, some of them were Christian. They were Christian and white. They got raped for that.
See, I knew you'd get it, Scrump.
It wouldn't even.
Yeah, no. You're safe, Mrs. Phillips. Don't worry.
Get down, Mrs. Phillips.
I thought that was
You're
hilarious.
Definitely getting demonetized again, Sargon. The new channel's already gone.
Oh, fuck's sake. It's doing really well as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. But anyway, yeah, so the Labour conference, what have you seen coming out of it so far, Scrum, that you take objection to, apart from all of it?
Oh my God. How about the fact that they want to basically ban private schools?
Yep. And that's not just basically, they've literally said it.
They want to quite literally do a Soviet-style seizure of all private school property.
Yep. Redistribute it was their words.
And what else? They want to tax people's gardens.
Didn't see that.
Wait, gardens?
Tax my garden?
But I thought gardens were good for the planet. I'm confused.
Oh, no.
Sorry, hang on.
That tax that they calculate on the worth of your land and your house combined. So if you have a garden, you will technically be taxed on that. In fact, those are the examples they gave.
Tax. Yeah, you're just copying us again, okay? We've got this fucking communist shit down, okay? It's fine.
You've beaten us too.
So if you grow some tomatoes, you're going to have to pay a little bit more in taxes?
They're also attempting to ruin the rental market by trying to make...
Say that again, because Sean Frasek from Mythsys just Skype called me when you guys were talking, and I have a funny feeling it probably overrode the audio for the stream as well. So what's the deal with the garden tax?
Oh, they basically they're doing a Scandinavian-style land tax.
Right.
So they're basically taxing people on the worth of their house and land combined, rather than making them pay council tax. Which, by the way, council tax is in bands. It does kind of do that.
Yeah, I know.
But one of the examples they gave was that if you have a large garden, you will be taxed on that.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't have a large garden, so I guess I'm safe on that front. But, like...
I don't have a large garden.
Yeah, it's...
I keep my lawn
just count the number of fucking windows I've got and give me a fucking window tax, like in the 17th century or whatever it was.
It's basically getting that way. They're also trying to ruin the rental market. They're saying that homeowners, not occupiers, would pay council tax.
Oh, wow.
And that there would be massive taxes for owning a second home.
Because people who rent don't actually use any of the services in the local area.
It's not just that, is that a lot of people rent because they don't want to buy a house in that area or have temporary contracts. It's like not everyone wants to buy houses. Like, it's a good example. I wouldn't want to buy another property where I am currently. It would just destroy the rental market. Everyone would get evicted overnight.
Well, I mean, this is obviously the Labour policy. I mean, what else they did? They did loads of stupid stuff, didn't they? There's been loads. Like, everyone in Labour not everyone in Labour, in fact, half of Labour members, but everyone in the public hates Corbyn as well now. There was an opinion poll put out, 21% in favour, 76% against.
They massively railroaded their Brexit policy. They knew they were going to get defeated at their own conference, so they did their pro or against Brexit vote, which was incredibly close, by a show of hands, and wouldn't let them do a paper ballot.
Oh, another great thing about it is they're fighting with their own executive committee, which the NEC is like the ruling body of a party. UKIP's currently in a civil war with its own NEC that's decided that for some reason, despite having absolutely no philosophical differences with Gerard Batten, he's a member in bad standing, and everyone's furious because everyone loves Gerard, because he stuck to his guns and said, no, we did the right thing, we don't care. It doesn't matter what the result was, we didn't back down, and that was the right thing to do. And everyone's totally in favour, but the NEC's like, nah, he's a bad person. And it's like, they're complaining that, like, me, Dank, and Tommy, and it's like, well, Tommy's not a member of the party, and me and Dankula aren't in bad standing. We're still members of the party, and we're not in bad standing. It's only Gerard that's in bad standing. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense, does it? Surely you would put us all in bad standing if that were the case. It seems like a weird power grab. But anyway, at the Labour conference, I saw they were having problems with their NEC as well. And it's like, good.
The thing is, it wasn't just the NEC, Momentum. And if you guys don't know who Momentum is, it's basically a communist pressure group.
A communist jihad within the Labour Party, yeah. Yes.
They tried to have a motion to oust Tom Watson, the deputy leader.
Yes, they did.
They also tried to oust Harriet Harman, I think, as well.
To be fair, that's probably just anti-pedo action. Hey, that's not libelous either. That's totally fucking true.
No, for those of you who don't know, Harriet Harman is a Labour MP who worked with a gay rights organisation in the 1970s, and one of the members under this umbrella organisation was called the Pedophile Information Exchange.
I think it was even into the 80s.
So that pedophiles can get together and exchange info for cool tips and tricks.
Unironically, they were pressuring to lower the age of consent to like 10.
Of course they were, the pedophiles.
Yeah. Well, they literally they were called the Pedophile Information Exchange or whatever. PI, obviously the acronym. Not even joking. The fucking 80s and 70s were a different fucking time. The past is a foreign country, man.
The American version of that is even more amazing. It was called NAMBLA, which is the National Man Boy Love Association.
I only know about that because
sounds like a trippy 70s.
Yeah, same.
No, there's a great documentary about it in like the late 80s that just basically, the end of it is amazing. It basically lists all the pedophiles they interviewed, and it gives their full names, occupations, and locations. It's amazing.
It's wild.
Full-time pedophile activist.
Yeah.
Now we've gone in the opposite direction of this. Now the EU is banning drawings as child trafficking.
True. Lou Levi, broken-hearted.
We missed the best one about the we missed the best one about the Labour conference.
Oh, go on.
They want to institute a 4-day, 32-hour working week.
That was it. That was fucking it.
And I had the best joke about this. I don't have a Twitter. I wish I did. It's like they already did that in the 70s.
Yep.
In fact, they had a 3-day week. It was called the Winter of Discontent.
Yep. Everyone was pissed off. Everything stopped working. Like, unironically, like the unions were taking over, and unironically, they were ruining everything. My dad has horror stories about, like, the electricity going out for 3 days in a row. It's like, this is a first world country that used to be the master of the world, and now we don't even have electricity for half the week. Like, what the... Labour are just cancer. Imagine...
No, they had...
Sorry.
Yeah. They had a 3-day work week because the miners and coal unions kept going on strike, and they didn't have coal to run the country.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go all Thatcher on people, but that's kind of what everyone lauds the people of the miners' strike, where they quite literally... A Soviet-backed Arthur Scargill who once wrote a furious letter to the Soviets because they wouldn't give him a literal chest full of gold rubles. This is a matter of like public record, by the way.
Yeah.
He led the miners' strike and tried to hold the country to hostage to bring about a socialist revolution.
I bet NAMBLA wouldn't mind a miners' strike.
Unironically, though, Scargill is actually somewhat of a moderate at this point. I'm not joking. Like on things like Brexit and stuff like this.
Yes, the moderate Soviet collaborator.
Well, compared to what it's become, he is rather moderate, you know.
The Soviets would take a step back and like, whoa, okay.
But imagine,
I like communism as much as the next guy, but that Dave Chappelle special was funny. Okay.
but imagine the loss of productivity. You know, it's like people do things with these man hours. You fucking idiots. You know, like we actually and you can't. You're not going to be doing overtime, are you? You're not going to be able to, if you choose, earn some more money. No, sorry, the union has decided no. Fuck you. That's what. It's like. Anyway, I should probably go see some super chats because I know that a few have come in.
I can't be home 3 days a week. My girlfriend won't be able to walk.
I can't be home. I can't be home 3 days a week because I'd have to deal with my wife. Right. Okay. So.
That's the difference, Sargon. The
Yeah,
difference between a girlfriend and a wife.
I know.
Never get married.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just, you know. Let me find the beginning of these because I don't want to miss any.
I've got to slip out. I'll see you guys later.
All right, take a good video on Thingy, by the way.
On Thingy?
You know, the last one you put up. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, the thing with the stuff.
That thing,
The thing with the stuff.
Yeah, it was good.
And the stripper with the magic tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Randy Pitchford Gearbox video. Yeah.
Yes, Randy Pitchford.
Christ, loads of these came out. I don't even know where the beginning is.
Scrump, are we going to record or at some point?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm back. I'm back from the doctors.
Do
so
you want to destroy his channel, Scrump? That's
yes.
We're streaming right now, Deb.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, later.
We can't stream because we have to stream.
Oh.
You worried me, Dev. You said no. You were taking Naomi to the doctors. I asked if she was okay, and you never responded.
Because I was at the doctor's.
Is she okay, Dev?
She's fine.
Oh, good, fine. Okay, you worried me.
Okay, I'll see you guys later.
See you, man.
We'll do it tomorrow, Scrump. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
So Icepole says, I want you to panic, Sargon. I want you to act like your house is on fire. I think your toaster is jammed. I wonder what that burning smell was, to be honest. This chick is just the 2019 edition of David Hogg. By the way, her handler works for Soros. I knew it. I haven't got any proof, but I also still know it. Because let's be honest, she's fucking bound to be funded by Soros. Like, where is she getting the money to do yachting adventures across the Atlantic?
She's mowing lawns, Sargon, just like the good old days.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I went around knocking doors. Hey, we'll because I lived in Germany, it was like 10 Deutschmarks, and we'll mow your lawn. And some adults took pity. Enterprising kids, and then we'd do it. But yeah, that's literally what this is. Nobody points out the majority of greenhouse gases is produced from like China, India, and Russia. We do constantly, but they don't care. Canada's leader is far more racist than Trump. Hashtag step down. Well, all I'm saying is if we measure the amount of racism someone has contributed to the world in the number of times they've appeared in blackface, Trump's suddenly looking pretty fucking good, isn't he? So, maybe Justin Trudeau should shut his... No, I'm not going to say anything because
Shut his gob.
I was going to say something spicy, but I'm not allowed to.
I believe the term was N-hole, but anyway.
N-hole.
Something like that. As someone diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, I hereby will grant you the Spurg Bully passes. Oh, thank you. I really need that N-word pass, though, to be honest. That's the one I'm going for. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the Republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, that seems rather retrograde and fascist. How dare you, sir? You should be abandoning your nation state and instituting global climate dictatorships. The real red pill is that politics is not about right versus left, that ever since Thermopylae and before it's been leave versus remain, nations versus empires. Big day for you Brits tomorrow, I heard. What? We've got a big day tomorrow, have we? What's our big day tomorrow? God, this is
Who's got a big day tomorrow?
We Brits?
I don't know.
Ominous foreshadowing. Is this like don't come to London? Because
some of you guys are all right.
Yeah, Scrump will unironically get something shut down if it is. But like what?
Pick a building, any building.
Oh, fuck's sake. Well, I'm not going to London tomorrow, so
I was in London over the weekend.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It was okay. It wasn't that bad actually. If you stick to the nice areas with thousands of police where all the rich people are, you're fine.
It's not that bad actually. Like glowing endorsement.
I was in Camden the other day though.
It's pretty bad.
Camden's awful.
Camden is very diverse. I don't know what you're talking about.
I wish I'd taken a video. I saw some like white guy with dreadlocks who looked like he'd wandered off from climate rebellion, Extinction Rebellion, who was obviously off his tits. He was chanting outside a Lidl, leaning over a taxi, like chanting about Pampers and Coca-Cola and Palestine.
He was praying to Saint Greta, wasn't he?
Yeah, it seemed like it. He was surrounded by like 4 PCSOs.
What's PCSO?
Just him.
Oh, you mean the replacement?
Community support officers, yeah.
Yeah, Chad Constabulary. The changing climate is something to be concerned about, and we should think what our potential impacts could be. But these end-of-the-world alarmists make any rational discussion impossible. Correct, and they are apparently driving the dialogue at this point as well. I wouldn't even care if it was just like a bunch of spurging out somewhere that I could ignore. But this is like at the UN. She's meeting President Obama. She was supposed to meet Trump, but he ignored her like a total chav. These are not small potatoes. This is not something that we can just ignore and think will go away. But yeah,
it's very much being engineered by the ruling global class too.
Yes.
She's a product of them.
Yes, and she's telling them everything they love to hear. That they're not doing enough, and therefore they should do more, and that just gives them moral license to do whatever the fuck they like. Because fuck you, that's why. We got a problem. Hey man, how's it going? Have you seen Greta death stare the God Emperor earlier today? Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Just she looks so angry. But the thing is, you got to remember she's only a 16-year-old kid, so it's like. We should talk about her parents, not her. But
she's got the face of like a 45-year-old woman, though.
That's
just being Swedish.
Uncharitable. I'll say. Have you heard that Google?
She does look a bit like a bulldog chewing a wasp.
I have a degree in geology, and the environment lecturers even keep saying climate activists are just nuts. They have almost no scientific backing. Imagine my shock.
When does he get fired?
Good question. I can't imagine that they're speaking out publicly.
I will tell you a story actually about people who like the environmental engineering qualifications that people have.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've worked in large engineering companies before, and they will not hire you if you have an environmental engineering degree because they are a joke. They don't. They teach you how to do equations wrong because a lot of the energy equations for environmental engineering don't make any sense. A lot of the forms of solar and wind technology A lot of the like energy break-even point stuff doesn't make any sense. They basically teach you wrong. Is what I've been told by a lot of people who hire and fire.
I did not know this.
Yeah, if you do an environmental engineering degree, 90% of the time it is worthless.
Have we heard that Google openly stated that they have created a quantum computer?
A computer that can travel through time?
I don't know. I don't know what a quantum computer actually does, apart from presumably a lot of calculations really quickly. So, but no, I haven't heard of that. Sorry, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I don't actually know what you mean by quantum computer.
Shekels from the underbelly of a Labour stronghold. My goodness, you're going to be in trouble if they find out you've been listening to this. The left one, all of the social... Oh, sorry, go on.
As you said, a quantum computer is basically a computer that does calculations in alternate realities. And I'm not kidding. That's how a quantum computer works. It uses the spin of all the possible paths of an electron to calculate things in parallel extremely fast. That's how quantum computing works.
So what you're suggesting is that we actually need some kind of quantum waste disposal, so we can dispose of all our toxic waste in other realities, so it's not a problem.
So what FPS does it run Minecraft at?
If you had a working quantum computer, you could just break all cryptocurrencies. Because you would just chew through those calculations.
Reveals that they are that they have built a thing they don't know is going to work yet. Apparently, according to this article. So in a few months, then they'll tell us if they fucked up or not.
To be fair, though, all the best things are things you don't know whether they're going to work when you start and turn them on, right?
To be fair, if they actually have made a quantum computer, we're all fucked because it's going to make Google the single most powerful entity on the planet.
Well, you say that, but I bet a large enough mob could just break in there and burn it down.
Let's hope.
The last one on all the social issues, so they will push the Marxist religion through environmental, racial, and ageist issues until they die. Yeah, it's also rather ironic when they're like, oh, look at this poor kid's tears. By the way, fuck kids, am I right? Ha ha ha, here's a pedo joke. It's like, you guys hate kids. Don't try and use kids. You're awful. And I don't really like leftists being around kids anymore. I always think they're kind of dodgy.
I don't like being around kids.
I'm sure this girl...
That's the benefit, though. If you actually like children, you wouldn't use one as a sock puppet.
No, you wouldn't. And especially the sort of shit they pump into Greta's head. Like, what does she know? You know, what the fuck does she... Nothing. She's a 16-year-old child. Anyway,
everyone's arguing about quantum computers now and saying that certain cryptocurrencies are quantum safe. I doubt that because you can probably just brute force a lot of this stuff. And yes, we technically do have quantum computers, but they don't work very well. It's like how they technically had aircraft in like 1909. But
I'm sure this girl is genuine, just ignorant of her role being puppeteered by the likes of the people who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, laughing away at the irony. I believe it. I believe that she is genuine, but I don't think that she's correct.
I actually think she's in on it. Like, the way she speaks, the way she delivers her lines, all I see is somebody acting poorly.
Well, her parents are actors, so it's not difficult to believe that she would be instructed by them in that way. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't have a sincere conviction, even if it's misplaced. So, and someone says, don't swallow the bait and go after a 16-year-old girl. Highlight the possibility of her parents and the lunatics behind her fame. Yeah, we did. Don't worry.
The possibility.
Yeah.
What do you mean possibility?
Can you imagine? We need a quantum computer to measure that possibility.
She's also just incredibly unlikable as well. You can just point that out.
Just like David Hogg.
She's a little girl.
Just like David Hogg.
Yeah,
she's
very David Hogg.
Who are you lecturing? You know, you're lecturing a room of people who actually all agree with you. What are you doing? But anyway, did you see the Democratic...
She makes me want to make sure there's no future for her.
Did you see the Democratic candidates that were the giant cookout recently? So much air pollution being created by those giant grills. I did not, but I'm not surprised. It's just like this is the thing about Labour saying, "Oh, we need to abolish private schools." Well, Jeremy Corbyn went to a private school, and Diane Abbott sent her kids to a private school. But don't worry about it. We need to get rid of them just as soon as they've finished their education. You see.
Well, they'll just send them to foreign private schools.
Well, that's what people do with our private schools.
Yes, they do.
Our private schools have got such a good reputation, and the thing is, they genuinely are good as well. Like, they're apparently advanced kids by 2 years compared to state schools. So the Labour Party saying we're going to get rid of these is essentially saying we want to make people dumber. It's like, thank you, Labour, thank you. We believe it. We all believe it. But,
you can't legislate away
common denominator.
Yeah, well, that's the only way socialism can work.
You can't legislate away people's desire for advantage.
And not just that, like, it's not fair. It's not fair to say, well, just because you can afford this, you can't have it. They're all for alternative energy unless it's nuclear energy. Yeah, I know. Nuclear energy is for the win.
Okay, that's a big rant on my part over here, because any solution to quote unquote climate change, even though the way they depict it is completely scientifically incorrect, everyone's right has been saying that. Yeah. Any solution to limiting fossil fuel usage that doesn't include nuclear energy is fantasy. There is no way you can even transition to this magical renewable future without using nuclear energy, even as like a 20-year stopgap. It's just, even with the most generous calculations in place, even if all the technology they think is going to be produced over the next 10 years comes to fruition.
Yeah, but the Russians messed it up one time.
Oh my God. It's so irritating because everyone cites Chernobyl and it's like, yeah, but that was the Russians using the design.
But there was a tsunami and an earthquake in Japan, man.
Yeah. Okay, so our examples here are the Russians and the Japanese building a nuclear power plant along a fault line. Like, yes. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so let's not do that.
Yeah, there's no fucking... I mean, France has been nuclear powered for fucking decades, isn't it? So, like,
they're laughing at Germany right now.
Yeah.
There's a big thing recently. Germany is having to climb down from its lofty renewable targets.
You mean it's dumb fucking statements that were virtue signally, look at us, we're so fucking virtuous. That's what it is.
But it was Der Spiegel had a great cover of just all these, like, it was like a nice stylized piece of wind farms being taken apart. But there was a huge backlash against them because they tried to basically destroy the ancient wood where Grimm's fairy tales were inspired and replace it with a wind farm to try and meet these targets, because they are literally running out of land, as we told them they would. If you try and power your country with wind farms, you will run out of land.
What a thing to do, though. It's like, yeah, it's heritage, fuck it. Sorry, go on.
This technology is not advanced enough, not by a long shot. And even as Scrum said, if we assume that the magical technology we need just appears over the course of the next few years,
ooh, magic,
we're still not close.
You still need the energy to manufacture those new technologies.
And the money to plant them and build them and develop them and just have them out in the world. We were looking into wind power in the ocean recently, and the idea was it would cost billions just to see if we could do it.
Yeah, but Arch, man, right? Nuclear power, it's a lot like chlorinated chicken. The word gives me the scareds, I'm like, ooh, that's a scary word. I don't want to do anything with that because I don't know anything about it, but I'm also already terrified. So what can be done? Nothing.
Don't they use chlorine on every drop of tap water that you drink?
Yes, and they also, like, they're not complaining about the chlorine-washed cabbages that we import from Spain, but suddenly when it's America trying to help us, suddenly it's bad. It's like, fuck off. All of you, universally.
What about your chlorinated chicken?
Yeah, exactly.
I hope you don't go to public pools very often, because those also tend to use a little bit of chlorine.
Yeah, it turns out that chlorine isn't actually lethal in normal doses. But, anyway, chlorinated chicken, it sounded icky, okay? That's literally the extent of the argument, man. I've had loads of arguments with the Remainers at Parliament, and I've asked them, well, what's the problem with chlorinated chicken? And they're like, well, I don't like it. It's like, okay.
Well, shit.
Yeah, I do like it. What about that? If that's the strength of the argument that we're making here, I don't like it is good enough. Well, I do like it.
I don't think we have room to talk when we literally couldn't export beef for a decade because we had something called mad cow disease.
well, I'm pretty sure that's going to be an EU conspiracy against the country, to be honest. And I bet if I look that up, I bet it's true. I bet it was some sort of French conspiracy against England.
Actually, the import restrictions being imposed for so long were.
Ha! Knew it.
There was no danger to Europe from British beef.
When in doubt, accuse the French of plotting against the English.
They did.
It's always true.
They quite literally did.
Yeah, I know. It's always true. Like it's quite literally always the case. Like even the financial transaction tax, Sarkozy, when this was supposed to come in, he was like, "Oh yeah, the English are going to be the big losers in this agreement." It's like, well then why would we do it? How about fuck you? Why are you against your partners? You shit. But yeah, anyway. Look into Bjorn Lomborg, a sensible environmentalist. I refuse to believe such a thing exists. I originally thought Greta was an inspiring story about a girl with Down syndrome sailing across the ocean by looking at the picture of her on her boat. Then I learned she was just a foolish European. Sad. Disavow.
Oh, no.
Let's see. Björn Lomborg, Dane. Okay, first strike against him.
I love the way you're taking ownership of this.
Facts straight. Okay.
Oh, there's a super chat here by Mr. Floppy Knickers aimed at me, saying, "Hey Scrum,
Mr. Floppy Knickers."
Yes, Mr. Floppy Knickers. When are we going to get a dump in with Scrump with you, Deb, and Lilith on the opportunist Yaniv? I think Rose of Dawn has Yaniv pretty much well covered. For a couple of weeks there, it was basically the Yaniv report. I also have discussed Yaniv on her Rose Pill podcast, so I've already covered that topic. But anyway,
is this another trans girlfriend of yours?
No, it was.
I like the
Jessica
way you knew
Yaniv.
that.
Jessica Yaniv was. Have you not heard about Jessica?
Oh no! I meant Rose of Dawn, not Jessica Yaniv. I think I know Rose.
You know who Rose of? You met Rose of Dawn,
yeah. Right? Yeah. I thought it was, but I wasn't too sure when I said it.
Fucking boomer brain over here.
I know, right? But right, so Greta is a crisis actor. She may not know this, but she is. I can believe that. That's probably a fair way of characterizing her, to be honest.
She is claiming there's a crisis, and she's an actress. So.
Just because the warning comes from a 16-year-old girl whose parents are both communists who may or may not have raised her as an actor doesn't mean that there isn't a problem.
Basically, yes.
I'm kind of starting to like this guy, despite the fact that he's a Dane. Apparently, he's actually vaguely reasonable.
The Danes are pretty based and red-pilled, though, aren't they? Let's be honest.
I mean, they're better than the Swedes, but...
Well, no, dude, they were going to put all their fucking migrants on an island just to send a message to the rest to basically fuck off.
Yeah, they stole that from us. We have an island called Bear Island, which we wanted to export first the Sami, then the Jews, and then finally the immigrants.
Okay.
Have any of you ever played Crusader Kings 2?
Yes.
I love in that game how there's a dedicated button called Expel the Jewry.
Well, yes, there is. But it's because it's something that happened historically on a fairly regular basis. That's why.
You know when you have like
making friends.
You know when you have a girl and she always has like terrible relationships with her boyfriends, like.
I'm going to head this off at the fucking pass before I get my stream demonetized and removed entirely. Scrump. Let's go back to talking about your trans girlfriend, the harem. That's actually politically correct.
It's fine, my dude. The politically correct term is Bucci.
You know what YouTube is like at the moment, so
you think, at which point do you admit who's at fault in these relationships? I mean,
even the co-founder of Greenpeace is a skeptic of climate change disaster, but still molten salt nuke reactors when some can even use spent fuel rods. Oh shit! Sorry, I've missed a bunch of these, so let me get them.
I like how Sagan just went Oive shut it down.
Yeah, I did. I'm up for as much humor as we like, but YouTube just isn't. So we can't shitpost like we used to. We really can't.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah, I would have thought so too. Yeah, I can't, and that means you can't.
I can do what I want.
Not on my stream, you can't. Anyway, Have a small pittance from a colonist, enjoy a cup of tea. We enjoy our brewed with cold salt water. We're revolutionary in our tea making processes. Actually, that would be incompetent in your tea making process because tea needs to be at a certain temperature to brew, which means you literally don't get any tea. You just get damp tea bags. This is why we burned down your fucking White House. We had warm tea. If you don't cut your emissions, we'll march our army halfway around the world to punish you. That's actually what they're probably going to end up doing. I can honestly see that being used as a justification. A casus belli. Invade China. Why? Because of their emissions. Think of the climate. Greta's crying.
Armies too are very climate efficient. They do not release a whole lot of gases or things. It's fine.
So what don't?
Modern armies, very climate efficient.
Oh, well, there we go. So there's no imperialism. It's suddenly very eco-friendly.
Oh, God, I like it how the EU sends an army in to occupy the UK, but then says it's okay, the army's carbon neutral.
Well, that was what I was concerned about, to be honest.
It's a carbon neutral invasion, guys.
Yeah. Technically, the West exports trash to the East for processing, so we do contribute in part. I suppose so. I suppose that's true. Here I am posting from a conservative state. We use clean power, thank you very much. Shame the environmentalist ilk despises hydro. Do they despise hydro? I wasn't aware of that. I assumed that they'd be in favour of hydro.
They're actually quite against it, yeah.
Right, okay. Why is that?
Mostly because it works.
Well, the same reason as nuclear power, then.
Yeah.
Can't have that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, conservatives are actually doing something, cleaning up trash all over America rather than screeching for Big Brother to do it for them. Well, yeah, but that's because conservatives don't view paying taxes as a form of charity. This is essentially the left-wing worldview. If I pay enough in taxes, then I literally don't have to do anything, and I can still claim to have done something. That's not really how virtue works, but nobody tell them that because, I mean, I don't know, it might cause some sort of meltdown. Sweden importing Middle Eastern terrorists, then we give them Greta, Aisha. In a generation, we'll have the perfect eco-terrorists. We are coming for that oil arch. Fucking hell, Arch, you better be worried. What happens when a Swedish invasion comes?
Sweden. There's nothing wrong about it. They took land from us. We'll take it back. It's fine.
Point of order. The left-wing government and media of Sweden do not represent all of the common people. Well, I did assume that, to be honest, mate. Like, unironically, They don't represent anyone anywhere ever in all of the world. It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
They have an actual nationalist party that's getting decent votes at the moment still. So
yeah, I'm sure they're going to be called fascists, and I'm sure they're going to be about as fascist as I don't even have an analogy for this.
If you read their policies, that they're actually left of the U.S. Republicans. So
okay, right.
They're a centre-right party, and they do get called fascists a lot. Yes.
Venezuela props up its sham of an economy by exporting oil. Yeah, not for very much longer. When are these anti-capitalist protesters going to organise in Venezuela and march against Maduro? Well, that's a good question. I'd like to hear the answer to this. The army of the greater good.
The greater good.
Yes. Environmentalists equal Tao. Maybe that dude twerking was farting mind control pheromones at everyone. Wouldn't rule it out, honestly. Wouldn't rule it out. I know you're busy, but I think we need a video on Maxime Bernier for fellow Canadians of a CAD. I would recommend going and watching an interview that Roaming Millennial did with him. It was a very good one. I haven't had time to really look into him all that much myself, though, because I'm not Canadian. And honestly, Canadian politics is entertaining, but it's not that important. I'm not trying to be rude. But I can't think of a more polite way of putting it. It's there seem to be more important things with which to spend the time. But Trudeau's just such a meme. How can you resist? But Bernier seems fine. He seems great, actually. I really liked his take on the Trudeau stuff, saying, look, basically it's shameful that everyone's getting in on this in this way because fuck off. Fun fact: older climate models don't properly account for the sun and clouds, specifically how much solar flares fire during solar maximums that heat the Earth. We're currently coming out of a maximum. Right, okay. I don't know anything about it, I'm afraid. Do you think it's better to have an elected head of government like the US president, or head of government appointed by the biggest party in the legislature like the UK PM? What do you guys reckon?
Say that one more time.
Is it better to have Is it better to have an elected president, or is it better in the same way the US does, or is it better to have constituencies electing a majority that can form a government like we do in the UK? So we don't get to pick our prime minister, but it's always the party leader anyway. So it's not like you don't know who the prime minister is going to be, but you don't vote directly for them, whereas you do vote for
in
the president.
principle. I like the idea of that the US has like a lower house and an upper house and a presidency in the Supreme Court. They have separations of power, but in practice, all it leads to is horrendously inefficient branch of the government.
Yeah, but how is that different from ours?
I'm going to say on paper, the US system sounds better, but they are both dysfunctional, I would say, in equal measure. Neither of them work very well.
We have yet to perfect the idea of democracy, but it seems like the best solution we've come up with yet.
Yeah. No, if there's one problem with democracy, fuck it, socialism.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?
The whole thing has to go. Sorry.
We tried. It doesn't appear to be working perfectly. Burn.
Didn't work perfectly the first time, so fuck it.
The whole thing must be ripped apart. Gotta start fresh. Something new.
I mean, I cannot see anything wrong with that, really. It seems reasonable to me.
But I mean, which one do we actually think is better?
Personally, I prefer a president, honestly, because then I'd know precisely who I was putting at the top, whereas the other system, let's just say that Norway has had a couple of occasions where interesting people have suddenly ended up in government.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that a party can suddenly make someone the leader of the nation.
What, you mean that like just how we got Theresa May?
Yeah, a bait and switch. or Gordon fucking Brown.
Or Gordon Brown, yeah. I mean, that is a disadvantage. But I think that the advantage would be it's less susceptible to demagoguery.
I don't know. It's in theory.
See, I don't necessarily know if that is as bad a thing as it sounds like, because I mean it is bad in a way, certainly, but it's also a facet of democracy.
Make the pro-demagogue argument, Arch. Let's hear it.
No, but like it is a facet of democracy, and in a truly functional democracy, it wouldn't be a problem. The problem is we don't have a truly functional democracy because nobody knows what the fuck our system is. We don't teach them.
Well, that's correct.
That was the perfect opportunity to argue in favor of the God Emperor.
Yeah.
To be fair, he did a better job than anyone who went before him.
Well, yeah.
He did.
But they both have strengths and weaknesses, I suggest is the answer. I'm not actually sure which one I prefer. Honestly, I don't really like the idea of us having a president here, but that's probably because it's just not what I'm used to. But I don't know. This is the thing. It's like President Theresa May, President Gordon Brown. Do I want those? Do I want that? Probably not.
Theresa May couldn't have done much more than harm, even if she was a president.
Well, that's true. That's true. You've got me there.
Theresa May couldn't do much of anything.
Well, that's also true. Wednesday Addams, Dictator for Life. Oof. Theodore John.
That's who it was. I knew she reminded me of someone. That's who it was. Someone said the name. Now I know.
Right.
What, Wednesday Addams?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, if it was Morticia Addams, maybe. Govern me, goth mommy.
Yeah. Theodore John Kaczynski did nothing wrong. I don't know who that is, and I can't pronounce his name, so that is his first mistake. But otherwise, I can't comment, I'm afraid. Char Aznable has the right idea. Asteroid drop now. Socialism is for the people,
support
not
this.
The socialist. Yeah, right. Socialism is for the people, not the socialist. My Lib Democratic lady was walking to work in DC this morning. The protesters wouldn't let her through, and she threatened to club them over the head like baby seals. Hates Trump, but might be MAGA 2020. Well, do your best, my friend. You are duty bound to turn your girlfriend into a MAGA voter. Because let's be honest, the alternatives are just insufferable, aren't they? I mean, come on. Like, this is the thing. It's like, are you going to vote for the Democratic Party even if, like, they got someone good like Tulsi? Even if they got Tulsi, are you really going to vote for the rest of that fucking party?
Oh, the chat makes a good point, though. She basically wants the same things the Unabomber did. That guy who sent all the packages to those buildings in America because he wanted everyone to like live in the woods.
Hang on. Who wants that? Sorry.
Greta Thunberg basically wants what the Unabomber wanted.
Well, I mean, it's probably only a matter of time until she starts threatening worse. Like,
I'm gonna say if you wanted that, like you be the Unaboomer.
I mean, she's already threatening that. She's like, "We will never forgive you if you don't fix everything now.
Change is coming, whether you like it.
You haven't given us any time. We're supposed to be dead in 20 years.
Yeah, we don't even know who you are. Go away. Leave us alone." And yeah, we've only no. It's 8 years left now. So like, why would we even bother? It's too. I may as well just have a good.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna die, might as well die comfortably.
Yeah, take out some massive loans or something. Just fuck it. Got my pink hat on, my frappuccino, and my 15 cats. Let's talk about how tornadoes feel. I tell you what, man. My entire retirement fund is my stocks in cat food companies, but I think it's going to pay off. Please stream for as long as possible. You guys are the best. Great to listen to playing games. Also stream with Lou Levi. I would, but he's not been around. He's obviously been busy working, which is disappointing.
Well,
to
imagine
me,
that.
I like hanging out with Lou.
Imagine working.
Yeah, I know.
Which is what I do all the time, to be fair.
It's well, same here, but like not in a proper job, I suppose. But
imagine
well, real
working.
job.
For some of you, this will be easier than others.
You millennial socialists are going to have a real problem with this, but I need you to imagine not being unproductive. What's the name of the two guys Carl is streaming with? Do they have their own channels on YouTube? Yes, they do. Short Fat Otaku and Arch Warhammer and Rags. It's 3 guys.
Yay!
I really should put links in descriptions. I'm just shit.
Oh, don't worry, Sargon. We don't expect these things anymore.
We've learned it by now.
I'm going to do it now. In fact, I'm like total silence now. I'm going to do it.
Okay, in fact, let me
I
get
said
you something
total
from
silence. That's okay. I'll do this while you do.
Hey, I'm Dev. You may
see this is what happens when I try and do it. The video pops up and someone starts talking and it's Dev, and it's Dev in IRL as well. Oh, Dev, you're so thick. I love it.
Just put a link to my Discord. It's a fun place.
I don't know whether I'm legally allowed to do that, Scrump.
But why not?
Who knows what goes on in your Discord?
It's mainly just traps, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing illegal about traps.
I don't know. Just the very name is becoming illegal at this point.
Oh yeah, the term's becoming illegal.
Yeah, like so. Don't sit there and pretend like Anyway, yeah, I will do it.
It's in the symposium anyway. Right. It's
okay. I will pin.
I don't. That's the only thing I have to shill these days. They yeeted me of everything else.
I will pin a comment to the stream. Right, there we go.
Do it.
I've done it.
Do it, faggot.
Right. Oh no, we only have another 10-ish years to save the world from the evil man. I remember hearing that when I was 7. I'm 35 now. Thanks for everything you do. Yeah, none of these predictions have come true at all. It's all nonsense. And thanks, Chris the Big Fredo Cuomo.
Wasn't that whole thing?
That's the N word for my people. Damn it! Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. You were reading you cut out for me there.
Oh yeah. What was going on in 2009?
I'm just saying the whole ClimateGate thing where it turned out they falsified a bunch of data.
Yes, that is something that happened. Basically, a bunch of emails were leaked where they'd made up some data because I guess the data didn't fit what they needed it to fit because data is inconvenient.
I like it how they tried to say that was the oil companies that leaks that, and it's like, well, it still happened.
I totally believe them when they say it too.
The oil companies made us lie.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that we had any incentive to do it ourselves. Douglas Murray's new book, The Madness of Crowds, is out now. Can you get Douglas on stream for an interview? Maybe. It's good, but it's like, for me, it's just like, I don't say it's old hat, but basically it's everything that I've been covering on my channel for the last 5 years. So it's like, I mean, it's excellent written. Yeah, well, no, unironically it is though. Like he'll say, and in summer 2017, a man called Nicholas Christakis. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what happens now. So like none of it's in any way surprising to me, but it's nice that it's being covered in a mainstream way. It really is important that it does get covered like that. So it's good to know.
You should do a video. You should actually rewatch An Inconvenient Truth though and do a video about it because it's hilarious.
I haven't seen it.
It's so good. Oh, watch it now. It's a laugh a minute.
Really? Okay. We'll do it.
Oh, he's talking about like the world ending in 2014, basically.
Well, I guess we survived that. In my city, all head teachers selected children from primary and secondary schools as young as 8 for climate change protests in the city centre. Yeah, that should really fucking be banned. I really hate this kind of politicisation of the institutions. I don't care what their opinions are. Do it in your own time.
But how are we going to indoctrinate children then?
Well, that's exactly the question. That's exactly it. How else are we going to indoctrinate the kids? It's like, well...
And it's really useful to indoctrinate children. Yeah, they don't ask questions.
Also, lower the voting age. It's like, no. None of this. Thank you, Space Seer. And the left, Asperger's is Greta's superpower. Also the left. Everyone I disagree with are Spurglords who shouldn't be listened to. Good point. Jesus Christ, how is the Labour Party a thing? What lunatic would willingly vote for a party that's just outright stated they're going to tax you into oblivion? Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It's because they don't do any form of charity and they think that paying taxes is essentially the tithe that they can pay instead of doing anything. And it's like, that's not how helping the world actually works. You fucking morons.
Oh, someone asked about top 5 presidents. I won't give top 5, but I will say I do enjoy based Andrew Jackson.
Oh yeah, Old Hickory.
used to duel everyone who disagreed with him.
Yeah. No shortage of time for old Andrew Jackson. I tell you that. Sorry, I'm just getting killed by a raptor. I'm playing Ark, obviously.
Oh my god!
I hate that when you get just fucking killed by a raptor.
Yeah.
I hate that, yeah.
Oh, well,
it's the story of my life, honestly.
Fuck me.
But Sagan, don't you have to tend to your wife's dinosaur?
I wish I could get my wife to play, because then she wouldn't be like, oh, spend time with me. No, I have to stop this raptor from killing me. It's level 150 and I'm not.
Remember GF? Is he still a thing?
Well, yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, what happened to Warski as well? Like,
what did happen to Warski?
Threatened somebody with a gun and is probably arrested at this point.
Did he?
Yeah, it's like...
Good job,
Warski, there was some deportation talk. He started doing the whole streaming IRL thing and immediately got in massive legal trouble.
Oh, what a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, strangely enough, walking around with a loudspeaker yelling out nigger, 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 nigger
I can't believe that backfired.
in public is a terrible idea.
Yeah, I can't believe that backfired. Amazing.
Yeah, there's also him on camera telling him to shoot somebody too. Like he was telling someone else to shoot someone.
Good job, Andy.
You did it. Remember when he used to make videos that I liked and enjoyed and watched with his brother, and it was great, and that was a simpler time.
Not only that, he made videos that the SJWs used to notice.
Yeah.
They would make like videos parodying him and kind of a form of response to him. And it's like, now he's like some broken degenerate who's...
Now
he became the Adam Warski memes.
Yeah, he did. Like Race Warski.
He became Race Wolski.
Yeah.
I was there on the stream. It was fun. He just seemed like such a normal guy. But man, I hope he gets his shit together. I mean,
yeah, me too. I don't like it, but I became.
No, I mean, I just realized like one day at random he blocked me on Discord, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, the whole thing with Bloodsports was bound to end in tears.
Of course,
we all said it
worked.
Yeah, everyone knew it was going to end in tears. Why did they do it,
For the moment.
It was a lot of money for for a fair bit of time, you know?
Yeah,
The
I
super
guess
chats.
so. Yeah, and then YouTube fucked them all up, and then the entire
Which
community
was
just fell
as
apart.
inevitable as the fucking tide.
Right, and like, where's Ralph these days?
Oh,
Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
he intertwined his story with Worski a bit. They went to Miami. He nearly got arrested again, and then on live stream he ate a burger out the trash. Yeah, the garbage burger saga. Ralph's back to his old ways of just being a lol cow these days.
Oh, poor Ralph.
Poor
See,
Ralph.
I never disliked Ralph. You know, I never disliked Worski either, but like, I never disliked him. But like, he got yeeted off everything, didn't he? Like, I don't even know what happened to Ralph.
He's still on Twitter. He still has me blocked on Twitter.
Oh, Ralph.
He keeps blocking me on Twitter.
Don't be like that, buddy. Come on.
Just because I made the Ralph in prison jokes. Just because I made the poor little white boy poster into the poor little fat guy poster.
Oh.
Come on, Ralph, don't be like that.
It's,
It's just some memes, bro.
in before Thunderfoot calling you a climate denier. Oh, I look forward to that. I deny the existence of the climate, Phil.
You know, there's the curse of Trump, where everyone who goes against Trump ends up with their career ruined somehow.
I know what you're saying here.
Yeah, there's the curse of Sargon. Like, how long until Thunderfoot gets arrested for something? How long until he just destroys his life? Because it seems to happen to everyone, Sargon.
Well, I don't want it to happen to anyone.
And yet.
Yeah. But believe it or not, I actually don't have any animus against any of these people. I wish they'd all stop deciding they'd try and hurt me or whatever, or attack me. It's like, what are we doing here? And things I did, with Thunderfoot, man, I don't know what the fuck happened. The Brexit thing must have really affected him, because I thought at the end of the discussion that we'd had that we were okay. You know, I didn't think there was any particular hatred there. But then he starts going on this fucking spurg jihad against me. I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
There's a few people, Brexit broke a few people. They just stopped being able to think rationally and stopped being able to communicate effectively with people. Yeah,
I don't know, man. I'm just like...
My favorite example, he surfaces from time to time, people post this, but it's someone who used to be in Gamergate called Robin Gething, who became famous for the man who was cucked by Brexit.
Yeah, I remember Robin. Again, he got really angry with me for reasons I don't know. I think it was I think for him it was partisan reasons. He was like, I'm very left wing. I'm like, well, left wing seems kind of cancerous right now, so I think I'm happy to leave it behind.
How could you guys? You've ruined my relationship with my Polish girlfriend. You voted to end my relationship, guys.
Can he not choose to move to Poland?
It seems so.
Who would be dumb enough to do that? It's Poland, Jesus.
Well, also, these things exist called marriage visas.
And it's full of Polish women. I mean, that's a good thing.
It's also the safest place in Europe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Poland? Really? Jesus.
Yes, it actually is. Yeah,
yes,
no,
it's nice.
That's true.
Poland's quite nice. It's quite cheap to live there, too.
It's sounding better and better, actually, Scrum. Now, I feel
Romania's quite cheap, but I don't know. That's Romania.
The only relationship I have to Polish people are the ones that, fixed my roof a while ago.
It's living like a colonial overlord.
Poland has
it's not even a joke. It's like that's Poland, cheap labor.
Well, basically, that's how it's not good for anyone though, because Poland had a massive problem where a lot of its labor was drained by the rest of Europe.
Yep.
And now they're having actually quite a decent policy of trying to repatriate their people.
Well, their wages have shot up because there's no one there to do the jobs.
Well, it's not even just that. They've had a massive boom. Their economy's doing great. Their country's developing. Their biggest problem is lack of labor, because the EU leached out all their young people and all their qualified people.
The biggest problem is the Germans.
The biggest problem is just the EU.
Indirectly this time. Yeah, but that's the Germans. That's what I mean.
It's still, yes, it's the Germans.
The more they stay the same.
Yeah, exactly. The eternal German never changes. Sorry. Please go on WikiQuotes. Sorry, I keep missing these. Yeet Labour into the channel, yes. I I know a way for climate protesters to get people to support the dictatorial takeover of democracy, claim that climate change will lead to the extinction of tea products and massive growth of coffee. Actually, I've probably said this before, but I have some tea that was grown in England that I'm yet to drink because I'm saving it for a tea review. But I've got literally like probably about half a dozen different teas from around the world that I've been to now, but they're all meant to be English teas, like English breakfast teas. So I'm gonna test them all on a stream and or on a video or something because everyone's been waiting for it. I say everyone, like 5 people, but you know.
The best tea on the planet we all know is Yorkshire Gold.
Yes, but it's not actually grown in Yorkshire.
No, Yorkshire doesn't have the climate for tea
Yet.
It's got the climate for rhubarb.
At the moment. But if climate change is true, then soon we'll be able to grow Yorkshire tea in Yorkshire.
I mean, we could grow our own tea. We'll be unstoppable.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly, climate change sounds like a pretty good thing, doesn't it? My house is on fire. I don't even get that reference. Please go on Wikiquote and look up Mussolini's declaration near the end of 1921. I would paste it here, but I don't have that much money. Arch, do you fancy doing that? Because I get the feeling in your voice it would sound excellent.
Mussolini was a pretty good lad when it came to quotes, actually. The Italian press is freer than any other press, as long as they support the party. That's a pretty good one.
That's actually a genius quote, I'm not going to lie. It's like hilarious.
Well, what was that one he mentioned?
There's on Wikiquote, there's Mussolini's declaration near the end of 1921. And in the meantime, is Camden that bad? I guess the name is cursed considering the one in New Jersey. It's hipster. It's really fucking hipster. I had to go there shopping with my wife a few weeks ago because, you know, she wants to go down there. And it was just really, like, awfully hipstery. And, I mean, I don't even think she got anything there. It was all like, you know, like, think of your stereotypical hipster stuff. Like, oh, you can buy a tweed jacket with patches on the elbows. It's like, yeah, but why would I? But this is the kind of thing it is. I've watched you, Sargon, Arch, and Rags individually for years. To see you all together in these streams is amazing. Keep it up. Also, the climate change will end the second they target trash bags. Oh, good point. Why are environmentalists so against nuclear energy? It's because it's a cult. And nuclear energy is a reasonable, sensible compromise out of the cult. Therefore, bad. Did you find that quote, Arch?
Not. I don't think so. I just found a bunch of them.
I'm not in a cult.
Yeah, it's a bit general, that, mate. If you could post, I don't know.
So it's a
what
bit
speech is it?
Vague.
Yeah, that is very vague.
Two.
Well, this is great content.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I was just about to read the thing. I'm not in a doomsday cult, Mum. We just think the world's going to end unless everyone believes exactly like we do. Yeah, exactly.
How long until one of these rallies ends in a table full of Kool-Aid and don't feed the Reaper on loudspeakers?
Honestly, it's only a matter of time, isn't it? You know, Greta Thunberg, you know, you've all ruined my childhood. You must commit seppuku now. And just a room full of fucking globalist millionaires do it. Honestly, that doesn't sound that bad. No, I've said it out loud. Search Tony Heller on YouTube. Alarmist is a scam. I can believe it. Wouldn't mind Greta addressing the UN so much if Soph got to have a go as well. Could be fun. Yes, that would be fun.
Yeah, you get one, we get one.
Yeah.
Debate now. So first Greta, that'd be good.
Oh, Jesus. I don't... Like, what... Christ, that sounds savage. I don't even know if that's fair.
Oof.
Thunberg is the Samantha Smith of today. Smith was the girl who went to the Soviet Union in the 80s. The difference is Thunberg replaces Smith's exploitable natural charm with an autistic stare and a vaguely predatory look about herself, but I added that.
She does seem serial killery.
Thorium permeates the Earth's crust and is less radioactive than uranium-235. There is a single deposit on the Montana-Idaho border that could power America's projected energy needs for 100 years. Yes, well, but that's not a windmill, is it?
No,
those are thorium. Not because Norway sits on a huge deposit of it, by the way.
Thorium's still theoretical, though.
Norway's like the Saudi Arabia of Europe. Just the fortune of just happening to be located on giant deposits of something.
But it's really good, though. Somebody blows up oil wells in Saudi Arabia, and suddenly the Norwegian economy takes a turn up. I'm not saying we didn't do it. Wait, no, that came out wrong.
Yeah, you are saying you didn't do it.
Or you could hear like the walking noises from like 1,000 miles away. Broke. Man, the Bjork jets.
Feminism is the root of all evil here in postmodernity. The majority of women fancy themselves as feminists. Women ruin everything, change my mind. That's not true. The majority of women do not fancy themselves as feminists. In Britain, particularly, it's about 30% of women who are actively opposed to feminism, whereas there's about 9% who are actually call themselves feminists. So that's
amazing.
It's basically feminist propaganda that leads you to believe that most women are feminists. Like, for example, there were far more anti-suffragettes than there were suffragettes. It's wild. Like, they did not... Like, I posted some of it to my Telegram account the other day. It was just hilarious. Like, you know, like these people are like, oh, we don't want this. You know, we don't want to get politicized. Because they knew that, like, suddenly they'd be in line to be like conscripted or whatever, and you know, obviously that never happened, but like they knew that suddenly they'd be political and treated politically, and they didn't want it. They were busy being private citizens.
You're right. It's about 9% in the UK, about 12% in the US.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's under 20% in the industrialized world of women who consider themselves feminists. It's amazing because every single broadcaster, every single movie star, all the women they put in front of you are like universally feminists, yet they represent 9% of the population.
If you're not a feminist,
think of that Good Morning Britain thing where it's, is it okay not to be a feminist? And it's like, what the fuck kind of question is that? Like, how out of touch are you? Yeah, exactly.
81% of the women in the UK.
Yeah, they think it's okay not to be a feminist. Why are we having this discussion? You fucking weird cultists.
Gen Z is getting even more anti-feminist.
Oh, probably. Fingers crossed.
If you speak to women under 25, a lot of them want an old style deal. It's like, please, what have you done to us feminists? I just want to find a husband.
Yeah,
I want a house and children, and I can't.
I actually don't want to be alone with my cats forever. It's like, sorry, ladies, the feminists have made a decision, and you have to abide by it. And then, ironically, that's what it's going to be like. But the whole thing, like, I keep seeing these articles that are going around saying things like, oh, it's okay to die alone with your cats. It's like, is it? Oh, is it? I mean, like...
It alternates between that and those articles about, like, the fact that men are broke is a tragedy for women. And whining about not being able to find good husbands.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That is fucking beauty, though. Dev's video, Women Most Affected, seriously, it is so correct.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful law over here, which basically says that prostitution is legal, but it is illegal to purchase sex.
Yes.
And there was an article stating that this is hurting women.
Oof.
Like, prostitutes are most affected by this law.
Criminalizing men is bad for women. Who would have known?
Yep.
That's literally what this is turning fucking into. But yeah, no, it's wild. Everything's so loaded. None of it is about, you know, like if you were to go back to like the egalitarian dream of the 90s, none of this would have passed. None of this would have got through. Everyone's like, well, that's not fair, is it? You know, what the fuck's happening?
There's
an outdated and silly concept.
Yeah.
There's a funny thing though that a lot of the people on the far left as well have managed to tie themselves in such knots that many of them have basically become incels.
Yes.
In that their belief system and like the way that they function is so fucked up that if you read between the lines of what they're saying, they can't find people, and it's quite amazing to watch.
Oh yeah,
especially like.
Oh, sorry, go on. Sorry.
I'm gonna say, especially the big one is like the whole like wanting lesbians to date trans women thing.
I saw the perfect formulation of social justice speak the other day, where I can't remember the exact way it was, but it was like, you know, I would like a platonic demi ex blah blah blah, you know, all the social justice speak, and we'd go out and we'd have fun, and I'm just like, at the end of it, I'm like, that person's saying I'd like friends. That's what they're saying. I'd like friends. Like they don't want to have sex with someone. They just want someone to hang out with and go fishing with or bake cakes and stuff like that. Yeah. That's what you do with your mates, dude. Why don't you have any mates? Like, what's wrong with you?
We already have this. And I've had people like shout at me for posts I've made over Twitter. and then immediately advertise, like grumble about the fact that they're single, and try and use their virtue signaling to try and say, hey, if you're an ally, look me up. Don't forget to donate to my Patreon, but also please date me, please. It's just like,
come to my birthday party, please.
Yes.
Yeah. It unironically is all like that. And this is the thing, like you can see loads of surveys and studies and whatnot that show that millennials have got fuck all friends, like something like 30% of them are virgins and don't have sex. And it's just like, why? What's wrong with you? It's not that hard.
It's not us there's something wrong with. It's society.
We live in a society though. But yeah.
It's the patriarchy somehow.
Yeah, the patriarchy is preventing them from having friends. It's making them childless losers who are going to die surrounded by cats who don't really care about them.
They have to spend all their time fighting the patriarchy, It's not easy to get friends in that circumstance.
Well, you'd think they'd bond over a mutual shared hatred of success. But anyway, if Greta is Boudica, who is
just want someone to grow old and fail with.
I can't even imagine what dating must be like for people now. Like,
Jesus Christ, what a minefield!
Yeah, right. Like, no, but seriously, like, not only the social problems, just like the fact that it's all done via apps and via the internet and stuff like this. It's like no one is themselves on the internet. No one looks like themselves. No one sounds like themselves. And then you meet someone and they're fatter and more boring than they seemed online. It's like, okay.
Hey, I feel personally attacked.
Yeah, right. You should. It's, I don't know who our Suetonius is, but Godspeed, man. Google Greta parents Antifa. Yeah, they're both wearing Antifa t-shirts, and she's pictured in one. Like the whole idea that she's some autonomous actor is just bollocks.
It's not. She's a kid.
Oh, she's an actor, all right.
Yeah, it's obvious nonsense. The real science behind there's real science behind what she's saying. A lot of people are unlikable. Doesn't mean this stuff isn't really going to be an immense problem. Well, I mean, it's already an immense problem. Bloody annoying activists everywhere.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, go on.
Oh, nothing. I've just here. Speaking of left inceldom, have a quick read of this. It'll upload in there. There we go.
If you don't want to fuck a trans person because trans bodies squick you out, that's transphobic. Okay, guilty as charged. No one is taking away your consent. We're just challenging you to rethink what kind of bodies you do and don't desire, aka desirability politics. Attraction is political, duh.
It's like, do you know how difficult it is to just make people like things they don't like?
No.
It's like, you don't like this? Well,
hang on. I have a prerogative here that has been acknowledged by this person. No one is taking away your consent. Okay, well, I don't consent. That's it.
Checkmate, I guess.
Yeah, you don't have my consent to try and force transgender sex on me, so go away. Deal with it. Like, why
that is Anna Balance, by the way. That is a journalist for the Daily Dot.
Well, the term journalist
the Daily Dot
is very, very much debased these days, and I don't really have much respect for it, I'm going to be honest. Like, I actively distance myself from the term.
Well, that is just why won't people have sex with me? The post, though.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And this is the thing. But think about it, right? Millennials, a much larger percentage than normal, are doing weird things with gender. It's like, but gender is how we work out who we're going to have sex with. Like, gender, that's how we decide what we're going to fuck. And then we have a specific set of rituals and roles that we use to negotiate the act of dating. And so it gets to the point where they're like, but we're going to fuck with all of this. Why won't anyone date us? It's like, I wonder. You've made it more difficult on purpose.
But you're Idiots. A terrible person if you don't want to fuck me. Why will nobody want to fuck me?
Yeah. We're gonna shame you politically for not fucking me. Don't tread on my voice. Unsilencedvoice.com, new social network that fosters free speech and diversity of thought. Join and help our community grow. Take power away from the left. Well, good luck. Really enjoying the daily Sargon vids. Cheers, Carl. Yeah, thanks, man. It occurred to me that with This Week in Stupid, if I can just do it where I'm essentially recording the screen, which is the way I can do it there, I can do it a lot quicker and a lot more in a way that I find more satisfying, because Excuse me. The problem with This Week in Stupid is it took ages to bloody edit because it was half an hour long, and it takes a long time to edit a half-an-hour video where, like, every few seconds you've got new stills and new images and whatnot. So this was just way, way easier, and I can actually produce the content in a way that I'm enjoying again, because that was the thing with This Week in Stupid. Producing this massive video after reading all of this stuff all week, it was draining. I don't know why either. Like, it was, to have like good enthusiasm for it was difficult after doing it straight for like 3 years or whatever. So I'm glad. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, I'm glad you've given up and just decided to become Tim Pool.
Well, honestly, the YouTube model favors it as well. That's another thing.
But you started your own Tim Pool / the Quartering channel.
Yeah, but
I could not be happier.
I mean, on the plus side, I'm prepared to jump off the fence. Oof, shot fired.
oof, dab done.
I'm gonna send Tim that MAGA beanie. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get him wearing it one day, and get him a little tuxedo.
You wore it to the White House.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, get him to wear a MAGA beanie to the White House next time he goes. Banning private schools will encourage rich people to pay teachers to teach at home, making the working class dumber. Well, they didn't think of that, did they?
The thing is, private schools have these things called scholarships. If you're smart, you can get into a private school, and you will have the finest education the state can muster. There are already laws about this. Yeah, you're right. If you abolish private schools, all the rich people will do is either send their children abroad, or they will just have them privately educated at home.
It's such a dumb suggestion to the point of being asinine. The really interesting part about it is the mask is truly falling with the Labour Party now. It's like, we're going to seize these and redistribute them. There we go. Fuck off, you communist.
The government must be the ones to teach your children.
Yeah. Literally, they think the state owns you. I hate it. Really fucking hate it. James Delingpole podcast had a guest on recently from a legal background. He said, if the facts are on your side, pound the facts. If the law is on your side, pound the law. If neither is on your side, then pound the table. That's a really good saying. Hey Scrump. Oh, you've covered this one about Jessica.
I've already covered that one, yeah. I just saw it as it came up.
Yeah. Sargon, I'm that journalist who's hoping to secure an interview with you on the 31st of a Brexit. You suggest I contact Callum in order to arrange one. Could you give a website email address? Yeah, callum.darragh@hotmail.co.uk. DARRAGH. That's the guy to email. Have you heard of a YouTuber called Potholer54? He does sensible videos supporting climate science. Yeah, but I bet he's not apocalyptic, is he?
Yes, Potholer54 used to be he was a YouTube atheist for a while. Yes.
Yeah.
He basically followed the same trajectory as Thunderfoot, but didn't go crazy.
Well, that's no fun.
That's a name I've not heard. Like, I feel like I'm like Ben Kenobi over here. I haven't heard that name in years.
Honestly, I've just got absolutely no fucking interest in the climate science debate. I just don't care. Like, what am I going to do about it? But no, I've heard he does good work. I'm sure he's not some frothing at the mouth radical, which is probably why you're recommending him. And if I was interested, that he would be the first place I'd go. So consider this an endorsement of forms. This crap turns me off climate activism. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not against making the climate nicer. I'm not against not polluting, getting plastics out of the oceans. These are all wonderful ideas. Let's do them. But don't sit there and frame it in the kind of, the leftist self-flagellating way. Oh, we humans are the real problem. Oh, fuck off. Just put a gun to your head if that's the problem. If that's how you fucking feel, man. You burn the White House to make tea? Well, yeah, you got to heat up the water. Electron volt from a few from a single hydrocarbon, a multiple more of solar cells lifetime, a metric function EVs per atomic bond, nuclear wins. Okay, well, I'm not a scientist, so I assume that's a conclusive postulate there. But yeah, I'm sure that nuclear is, from everything I've read about nuclear, just seems like the obvious and pragmatic choice.
It is theoretically the most energy efficient. He's right,
and it's the safest, fewest deaths. More people die from wind farms. God damn it! Why are we even talking about this?
They also, I remember the the EU gave, was it like Nigeria? It was it was an African country, a massive subsidy to build a wind farm, and they built it on a bird migratory route. And
why?
Because Africa.
Yeah. And the thing is, with nuclear, it's like I've heard people saying, "Oh, but it pumps out loads of gas into the air." It's like, isn't that steam? Like,
oh my god,
it's a steam turbine. What the hell's wrong with you?
The amount of people I talk to who think that the cooling towers are pumping out massive amounts of smoke.
yeah, I've had that. Yeah.
Oh no!
You mean water vapor?
Yeah, that hurts. It's a cloud, my dude.
Yeah. It's like what jet engines produce. It's not that bad. Google won't let me send you super chats about the nuclear disasters. Very telling that they want the fear campaign to continue. Man, Google's search results as well. This is the thing I'm most bothered about these days. The autocomplete. You know that's going to direct many people just on the face of it. And the fact that these are not neutral, these are actually curated, is something that probably will be looked back on as a really negative thing. Like, they're
already investigating it.
Absolutely, and it's obviously happening. I mean, anyone knows this, but like,
it's like if you typed in at one point, if you typed in American inventors, they deliberately changed it so it was just black inventors.
Yeah.
Like that's something that shows. I know it is kind of a small. No, it's not a small thing. It's like they would like her laugh at the racist, but it also showed that they just arbitrarily changed their search results.
Douglas Murray actually talks about this in his book. I mean, I haven't even finished it. I'm about 2/3 of the way through, but he talks about this in his book, and it's like, wow, this is very red pill, Douglas. You know, you seem, and obviously he never says like what everyone on the internet says about it, but the implication is very clearly there, and it's because, let's be honest, they're probably fucking doing it for that reason. Christ, the big thing I was talking about was the Supreme Court decision tomorrow about Boris. Oh, right, yeah. No, dude, that is ominous. Like, you didn't mean to sound ominous. No, that is ominous. I forgot all about it. I'm kind of dreading it, actually. I think they're going to screw us. And I don't know what Boris is going to do, but he better fucking do something radical. Because at the end of the day, there was some advanced polling done that showed that if the Conservatives, it was hypothetical questions. If the Conservatives don't leave on the 31st, what happens? The Conservative Party goes down to like 20% of the polls, which is actually lower than Labour. There isn't actually predicted a big Lib Dem or Labour surge. And the Brexit Party surge is actually not that big from the polling as well. Obviously, this is all hypothetical stuff, so take it with a grain of salt. But if the Conservative Party leave on the 31st of October, then 37%. So I think a lot of people will just get really jaded with politics if we don't actually get Brexit. So basically, come hell or high water. But Boris has been very clear on this messaging. Come hell or high water, we're leaving on October 31st. And as he said, I'd rather be dead in a ditch. It's like, good man. So stick to that, Boris. But yeah, they're going to try and screw us through the courts, man. They're going to try everything they can. Try drinking hot tea in the Mississippi humidity. Why would anyone live in Mississippi? Yelling fix it is not brave or helpful, so dumb. Well, I mean, to be fair, she is only 16, so I didn't expect much of a thing from her. The problem of the left is that they're so nice, it's a vice. Yeah, they're just so lovely. From now on, Herr Guy, or Guy, sorry, will be known as Darth Verhofstadt, because he's been de-verified. Ha 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 ha. That's a terrible joke, Mauricio. Sorry, you're roboting up on mine. I'm gonna leave and just come back in. Right, okay, I'm back. I think. Is it back? Can you hear me? No, that's robot as well. I'll try again. Hello. Are you there?
Yes, we are all here.
Oh, thank God. Well, you weren't a second ago. It's funny to hear Greta and other middle-class kids telling us how we basically need to stop the industry/economy. It's all right for them when they don't have to go out and get a job. It's more really fucking short-sighted, because, I mean, as if this is going to affect them in a few years' time when they do. But, I mean, they do believe that the Earth is about to blow up or something, so I suppose that's secondary consideration.
Oh, it's not me.
Bring back dance lessons for politicians, starting with hempen.jig. No, hempen jig. I've never heard of that. So I'm gonna get.
The hell is that?
I've no idea. I daren't even Google it. Possibly because, well, because I'm taming a pteranodon and I don't want to get attacked by another raptor. But so I can get Louis on sometime. I'd love to, man. He's evidently been busy because he hasn't been around. I'd love to get him on though, because he's doubtless stressed out about something. Sorry?
He is stalking people as a profession.
Oh, you're back.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Been playing some of the Search too.
Yeah, you haven't been around for ages either. Where have you been?
Yeah, V. Mister, I can't play Nazi vampires.
Yeah.
Got reversed, so
So you say
I'm usually awake when you're asleep and vice versa.
Right, okay. How have you been doing, man? You been alright?
Yeah, it's all good. Been following the cult of Greta Thunberg.
Go on, what do you reckon?
I understand that listening to children is really good unless the child is someone like Soap, and then you should deplatform them and encourage hate mobs on them and their parents.
Well, it's okay to bully 14-year-olds if they disagree with you, V, didn't you know?
No, absolutely. And if you look at the communist propaganda agitprop, the child hero mythos is something well established. Both the communists and the Nazis would do this. They would take a child and put him forward in order to spout some political propaganda. And if you criticize the propaganda, then they view it as you attacking children, which makes you a horrible monster. And if you dismiss the propaganda, is then, well, look, even a child can understand these things. Why can't you?
So we've got to the point of calling Greta a Nazi.
Yes, or a communist, up to you.
Well, yeah, communist is probably more accurate, to be honest.
I have a picture, if you want, between communist propaganda and Greta's propaganda, and you will see the startling similarities.
Is it very similar?
Yes, let me see if I can just find it. It's going to take like 5 minutes or so, I'll be quiet until I see.
We'll see you in a bit, V. V is digging through his massive pile of inflation porn.
Right, okay, yeah. So, resurrect the Concorde and come and take Greta home. Whether you believe in climate change or not, things like Generation 6 nuclear, reforestation, electric cars, terraforming Sahara are high ground solutions that solve problems for both sides. They sound like they're a really good idea. I'm not against them in any way, shape, or form, and I don't really see how anyone could be. But then I'm not part of a climate cult, so I guess there's that.
All I can see in the chat is just a sea of kick V.
I found the picture.
Oh.
Pavlik Morozov is the propagandist in chief for the Communist Party that came up with the concept of the child hero.
Okay, hang on a second.
Upload it here. Give me just a second.
Gotta wait for that Romanian internet.
No, Romanian internet is among the best in the world. I've been reliably.
I was about to say.
We lost that since the Chinese started pushing the 5G shit.
It's always the
Well,
Chinese.
I was in Romania. I was in Romania a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, they have like 5G internet everywhere.
Oh
it's crazy.
Yeah, the picture of the girl pointing, the guy pointing. Yeah. Hang on, I'll.
And there's one more that I have for the Nazis. Let me see.
Wow, that is actually. It really seems abusive to use a child in this way.
Of course.
Those dead, cold fish eyes.
Game changer.
My favorite part is like, you stole my childhood from me.
Hey,
it's like, bitch,
you know,
when I was a kid, do you think like I didn't want to go in front of the European Parliament and have speeches? Do you think like traveling on a $4 billion yacht is something that I didn't want to do while avoiding school? Getting the Nobel Peace Prize, visiting Obama, like all this shit. Oh yeah, I can definitely see that you're suffering.
Man, if I told my parents I'm not going to go to school, I'm going to go protest, I'm probably going to whoop around the head and then sent there. Like,
I'm going to say it's...
I'll do frog march there, you know what I mean?
It's a bit of a coin flip. It's a bit of a coin flip being a leftist kid, though. You either get this, or you're like snorting ketamine out of a drag queen's asshole. So.
Yeah, or you get your dick chopped off.
It's pride.
Yes,
it's pride, guys.
Yeah, they're just proud. Okay, I mean, yeah. Right. So yeah.
I will say, B, that second one's a bit boomerish, though.
I think that's what they were talking about with the Dinesh D'Souza tweet. Actually, is the fact that the Nazis used girls with plaited pigtails like Aryan-looking girls, which I guess every Swede is pretty Aryan-looking. Right, dysfunction in the left is going against all reason. Yeah, but reason's a white patriarchal construct of the colonialist, imperialist, capitalist patriarchs. Why would they want to use that? Like, unironically, they genuinely are at the point where they think that reason is a way of keeping brown people down. That's what they think. The US system was meant to be dysfunctional to prevent a government forcing their laws people hate. I don't think that it's meant to be called dysfunctional. I think they would call that decentralized, perhaps, is more...
Separation of powers.
Yes. And so decentralized seems to be a more fair way of...
Everything that's not fascist is dysfunctional.
Yeah. I don't think this guy's a fascist. Well, maybe. Libertarian monarchy with queen, not my problem. Libertarian monarchy, that's an interesting idea.
Libertarian monarchy.
Well, I mean...
Everyone's a king.
Honestly, like, this not that far from, like, what is possible. Like, it depends on the temperament of the monarch. I mean, the problem is you're going to get a monarch who's not a libertarian being the king. The fact that 15, 16-year-olds are frequently the figureheads of progressives shows me how intellectually and emotionally mature they are. Well, yes, obviously, I can't disprove this. And so I'll just move on to the next one because I agree with you. Look at Canada's Parliament for Demagoguery. Suddenly it's sounding exciting in Canada. Pro-demagogue argument, Marcus Aurelius, QED. You can't call Marcus Aurelius a demagogue. That's not fair to Marcus Aurelius. How about Premier Corbyn? Yeah, would you like President Jeremy Corbyn? Who feels good about presidencies all of a sudden?
It's your problem, so I'm just like fine with that.
Shut up.
I mean, what's the difference between president and prime minister, if you think about it?
Say again.
What is the difference between, let's say, French president and British prime minister? It's literally the same thing. It's
probably the amount of direct power they hold. I think the French president has a lot more direct power, but I'm not an expert on that, so don't quote me. But I think it's about that. Big brain political system. Monarch and elected president as co-executives. You can't have co-executives. The system will be inherently unstable and collapse. If Trump wants to hurt Chinese trade, he just needs to start a fine tariff Amazon. Most of Amazon's inventory is Chinese knockoff trash. Probably true. Morticia Adams 2020, definitely.
Greta
Yes.
looks like Morticia.
Who?
No, she looks like Wednesday.
In black, she looks like Morticia.
Yeah, she looks like Wednesday Adams, right? That's what people have been saying. I'm just quoting other people, Google. Just don't kill me. Sulfur hexafluoride is the next problem we have to face as we move to a more robust electrical grid. It's 23,500 times more effective than CO2 and lasts for 3,200 years in the atmosphere. Well, good. I'm glad to hear about the next lethal thing that we do every day that's going to kill us. Like, this just makes me happy. We should be afraid. Autism was our greatest weapon. They're using it against us. I would give more, but I'm buying Link's Awakening tomorrow. You know what, British Knight? That's a really good point. How have we allowed them to weaponize our only strength?
Female autism at that.
Yeah.
You think Greta was vaccinated?
That really is the issue. Female autism. Anyone who has ever argued with a girlfriend will know this is pointless.
Yeah. The thing is, I've seen them. V, I asked you about this. I've seen them posting like the fetal alcohol syndrome thing, and I'm just like, well, it really does look.
I mean, you can't put a diagnosis just based on looking at a patient. You'd have to do the blood works when she was born, especially the blood works of her mom.
Listen to Mr. I'm an actual doctor here telling us what we actually need to know.
Well, I mean, it's possible. I'm not ruling it out. It's just that you can't put a diagnosis just by looking at her face.
Sometimes
I've seen her mother. There was alcohol involved. Just no question.
Sometimes I forget that V is actually a doctor. It just, I don't know, V.
We rarely talk about medical stuff.
I mean, let me put it this way: she would definitely raise suspicions. Like further tests would be required.
Further testing required. V's expert medical opinion.
Wow.
I'm going to pop off. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, take it easy, Arch. Thanks for coming on, man. Reginald Potts, thank you very much. Sargon, Sargon did nothing wrong. Hitler did loads wrong. Archer's just gone, but he could have given us a comprehensive list of things that Hitler did wrong. 13% of the population. Well, I'm heading back to work now. That's probably a good idea before you get me shut down. Imagine the Earth is cooling, so they desperately want change, so they can claim they saved us. Yep. Name your top 5 U.S. presidents. Ooh.
McCarthy.
Can we say Trump 5 times?
He wasn't the president.
Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, Andrew Jackson probably. I
Just
like,
5 of them.
I just like his attitude. Fuck everyone. I broke the banks. Urgh.
Jim Crow.
Wow. There's that. Without any greenhouse gas, the Earth's average temperature would be minus 18 degrees Celsius, so a Norwegian summer. I prefer too much rather than too little. Yeah, but I really don't like the heat. Halloween's coming up. Pagans for Brexit. It's a bit of a Christian thing these days, though. Pee poo poo. Thank you for making me say that. I appreciate that, you dick.
Money well spent.
Yeah. You just wait for the inevitable Sargon deep fake to come out and get me to say that. Thank you very much. Lower voting and consent age, rage age for guns. Yeah, I don't like the inconsistencies in the left's moral arguments here. Thanks, Enchanted Warrior. And did I watch the Hamilton versus Satoshi video by the guys who did epic rap battles of history? It's really great. Still man with the argument for crypto. No, I don't really know much about crypto. It's like climate change. It's one of those things I've never really thought to get into. But if I could ask people not to send any more super chats, I'd be very grateful because there are loads here.
Jesus, Matt!
I really want to
How
get
wealthy are you?
Please,
You're literally the
stop
only
giving me
person
money.
that's like, nope.
No, we do it on EFAP too, and on my streams. Actually, maybe you're the
I'm
only
very
one.
appreciative because it's literally my only source of income from YouTube anymore. So I am very appreciative, but like it's gone midnight and there are still loads there, so I've got to get through them.
You know what?
Yeah, I'm
going
heading
to
off
stream
now,
after
too.
you if people are in such a gift-giving mood.
Hang on, let me figure out where I was.
I'm obviously the one who's causing all these super chats. No, I have to go to sleep because it's a school night. But you guys have fun. It was very nice streaming with you anyway.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
And I'm glad I could come. I'm glad I could come in here and tell you that your audio wasn't working. Because good lord, I don't know how long it would have taken before you realized
that. Could have gone on for ages.
It could have been an hour.
No, it wouldn't have been an hour. I do look at the chat when I get the time.
You could still be talking.
Did you guys talk about that Daily Mail article saying that the kids who went to the global warming protests, they actually didn't want to be in school and they don't give a fuck about global warming?
Well, imagine my shock. Kids are like, hey, I can get out of school for the afternoon and I can go sit out in the sun and just doss off. Yeah, that sounds great.
But it's an actual article. Like, that's what's funny about it.
That's because it's inevitably true. You got to understand, man. It's British school kids. Right, nobody expects the new Swedish Inquisition. Sargon is the new Clinton in training. Jesus. Arch Warhammer, did you see the new David Chappelle, Jussie Smollett? Arch is no longer here, so I can't ask him, but I'm sure he probably did see it because it's one of those things that's worth watching, isn't it?
If you want, I can roleplay as Arch while he's gone.
that does sound sexy, but we should probably not. Speaking of the Trump curse, you should look up the presidential curse on Reagan's fascination with the occult. Trump probably continues the trend. God, I have no idea.
He didn't play Gandalf with the Saudis over that Michael.
Well, he did, but I think that was something that... Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it did look particularly bloody weird, didn't it? I mean, I
love the memes coming out of it with Sauron and Gandalf.
Yeah, I shot Saruman into it. It's not even weird. And it's like, well, that's a really great point. It's not. You know, what the hell's going on?
You could Photoshop Darth Vader. You could Photoshop a lot of people.
Yeah, but right. SUV drivers in Germany are now being publicly shamed and harassed by protesters due to an accident caused by a medical condition. They are claiming SUVs are death machines, an incarnate of anti-climate. I'm not surprised.
Man, I would want to go to these protests and roll some coal on them.
Sorry, go on. Say again.
Do you know what rolling coal is?
No.
It's when you modify your SUV so that it pollutes as much as possible and then push that coal all over protesters and bicyclers. And like the Young Turks were livid about it. I'll show you a segment that they made.
Right, okay.
No, but think about it. Like, people are willing to spend thousands of dollars to modify their car, to spend more gas, just to piss this activist off.
Well, good.
Money well spent.
Yeah, money well spent. This is what freedom looks like, bitches. The French are only good for three things: pairing wine and cheese, making pastries, and getting anally screwed by the Germans. Well, I mean, you know, what am I supposed to say to that?
Viva la France.
Yeah. The Brits culturally appropriated tea. Well, it didn't start on our island, did it? Of course we culturally appropriated it. But we tend to call it cultural appreciation, and then it doesn't sound evil.
Well, I think taking shit with the price of iron is something to be proud of. Like, an entire culture used to have this, and you went and you kicked their asses and took it from them, and there was nothing they could do. That is like something to be proud of.
See, that's how we get white guilt, V. Winning wars is how we get white guilt. You should think about this before you wish it upon people.
No, it's because you stopped winning wars. That's the problem. If you want to, if you'd have won decisively World War II or the Cold War, like
we
the Americans did, yeah, you it was a pyrrhic victory, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, okay, that's true. It was, yeah, okay. Speaking of Yorkshire Tea Gold, have you guys heard of the spiffing Brit? He seems British enough to be cool. I have not heard of this person, sorry.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Search in your Sargon of Akkad 100 inbox for Portland climate walkout. I sent you photos of the climate change protests from Friday that you might find interesting. Thanks, keep up the good work. Oh, thank you, I will. Thank you for sending them as well. A right-wing think tank used Google's quantum supremacy to deepfake the existence of a parallel reality where the media currently reports on events, in my opinion. That is a plausible theory. Hi, Rags, when's the next EFAP?
Hey. Should be Sunday, as far as I'm aware.
More importantly, when do I get an invite?
Mahler's in charge of that.
I see.
Yeah, I actually don't know what the list is like, but we have to find a good video to cover with you.
Well, yeah, we do actually.
So if there's delegating responsibility to me,
right?
I'm delegating responsibility to the guest because we want the guest to kind of cover something that's appropriate to them. So if there is a video out there that you were going to do a video to, or were on the fence about, or would like to cover casually with us, do let us know.
You know, I think I'll let you guys choose that. I don't know. You know, I'll let you guys find something that's bothering you, and then we'll go through it.
I'm sure we'll find something.
Yeah. Check out Bjorn Lomberg. That was already suggested, I think. Points fighting climate change is one of the least effective ways to help the poor. Economically speaking, you can cure malaria, give basic education, etc. P.S. How did the Children's Crusade happen? How did that happen? Because people believe stupid shit. I can't remember exactly what it was. It must have been some omen or something. But obviously in some backwards village in Germany, someone got the idea that it's actually children who are going to save Christendom from the Islamic menace. And so, like 20,000 of them or something marched themselves straight into slavery.
Can you imagine how happy the Islamic slave traders were?
The Turks must have been like, wow, this is just such a boon to us.
Wow, it's like, wait, Ahmed, wait, this has got to be a trap.
Yeah.
I think that's how they make the Muslim world weak, by making them wealthy. And wealthiness, takes away from
the decadence will make them weak.
Well, that's how you make anyone weak.
Make them fat and weak by making the Turks wealthy from selling children into slavery.
All it will do is cost us our children.
All it'll do is take 500 years and cost us a generation of kids. But, you know,
I wish I would have YouTube was a thing back then, so you could see if the kids in charge were charismatic.
I'd have to go back and read about it. It's been ages. Yeah, it's been ages since I've read up on it. But yeah, it was not smart. Just in retrospect, that's all I'm saying.
It depends. I mean, it fixed the orphan problems for Germany. Like, if you read Huckleberry Finn, orphans, even further in the future would make gangs and be the crime element of cities. So, cleaning up the streets.
Yeah,
all I'm saying.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Greta reminds me of the taking babies from incubators girl from the first Gulf War. She was the daughter of VIP. I'm reading from the script. That was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador. that was speaking before Congress and lying through her teeth at the behest
Yeah,
of
but it
her
was
father.
just like one time. With Greta, it seems to be a never-ending thing.
Well, it's going to be a career for Greta, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, but I keep locking the door from her, and she keeps coming through the window. It's like more articles. Oh, she won the Nobel Prize. Oh, she's visiting Obama. Oh, she's lecturing the people at the United Nations. Like,
yeah, I know it's fucking insufferable. But yes,
I wonder when Soap will go to the United Nations.
Greta is literally the Penguin from Batman Returns. Rich kid backed by rich donor to take over Gotham. Secret plots kill firstborn sons of Gotham. Disavow. I think I'm going to go with that. That seems further than I'm willing to go.
Yeah, you know, like the thing you're not allowed to say. Like, she's able to say everything she wants about you because you know she's talking about you, right? You're the one that wants to buy an SUV. Admit it, you thought about it at once, right?
I've got a family. I already own an SUV.
Yeah, there you go. So you're the problem. You know, like this is why she can't be at school.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to be part of the problem, I guess.
You robbed Greta's childhood from her, you bastard.
Did I? Oh, God. I should have thought about that before I did that. Mansplaining feminism. Yes, I am. That's what I do best. Mistake. The oldest Gen Z person would only be 16. Well, hopefully they're based and repelled. Are we really going to start looking to child...
a feminist degree one of these days? Like, to just go to gender studies just to have it, to show it to people. Like, yeah, I understand feminism better than you. I have a degree, bitch.
I'm sure I'd do well. I mean, I've been reading about it for so many fucking years now.
Going to Christy Winter's courses.
Excuse me, Miss Winters, that's the wrong pronoun. Are we really going to start looking to child autists for guidance? Well, we've got
Mr. Benjamin, what did Bell Hooks say in her book at page 45?
I could probably find that out. I've probably got it on my shelf. No, ironically, I probably do.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I get the feeling that when people are breaking out child representatives to be the voice of their movement, then what they're saying is the other side just have stopped listening.
What I don't get is, like, why these sons of bitches are forcing this kid to do something she doesn't want. Like, she wants to be in school. Why can't you take another kid? You know, like, surely you can find the kid that has her same opinions, but wants to be where she is.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. The egalitarian dream of the 90s led to this. Yeah, I don't think it's actually that's the problem, though. I do think that the lack of religiosity and the lack of religious leadership is actually the problem. And I say that as a new atheist, okay? So, like, because all I'm seeing with all of these activists, all of these, movements, is religious fervor.
But the Pope supports Greta, if you didn't know.
Yeah, but it of course he does, right? Yeah. But the Pope's very progressive. You have to understand.
There's nothing in Islam or Christianity that would be against what Greta is saying.
Yeah, well, no, Muhammad wasn't thinking that the planet was going to blow up in 12 years. and both of those are actually apocalyptic religions. So, of course, there's nothing that they would oppose on that. But the will, the desire, the passion, the way they look at it, it all seems very religious. And I do wonder if the Four Horsemen and the New Atheist Movement don't have something to answer for there, because they were saying, oh, freedom's a good idea. And it's like, and okay, so I was watching a stream by a guy called Dark Matter 2525. He's an amazing content creator. He's easily one of my favorites.
Really good.
He's got like a yellow angel, like coming from The Simpsons.
Yeah, but he also makes really philosophically thought-provoking videos. Really, really like him. And he's like, comes from the atheist community. And he was doing a video, like a stream response to Dave Cullen's video, How I Rediscovered Christianity. And it's not that he was making bad points, because he wasn't, but he seemed to be kind of at the point where I guess what it is that he's on the side of our argument when it comes to the social justice warriors, and it becomes necessary to become effective allies with the conservatives, who are also atheists or were atheists, and they need to kind of reconcile the fact that obviously he's not going to start believing in God, but there's no question that the desire for freedom is good, but freedom is generally considered to be from outside coercion. But the Christian view of religion is really meant to be that it's meant to be inner guidance. It's meant to be a personal thing. And this is, Jesus, don't pray on the street, pray in your closet, that sort of thing.
Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah. It's actually deliberately secular and meant to be private and internal. But the point is, it's meant to be there to give the person guidance in their life. Because, what are you doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? And so the New Atheists, I think the problem they had is by ripping down Christianity so effectively, they kind of left a hole. They've left this empty space where, well, people still have this urge to try and save the world. And normally, by saving people's souls. And that's effectively no different to what the progressives are doing now, the social justice nut jobs. So by not having a suitable moral alternative that wasn't also destructive in the way that social justice is, we, the New Atheists, kind of left the field open in that regard. Now, I don't want anyone to misinterpret this as me saying we need religion, because I just don't believe. I've never believed. I'm never going to believe. I just don't believe. But we do need to take ownership of the fact that social justice is a product of the Enlightenment. Communism is an Enlightenment philosophy, and it is something that was probably inevitably going to come out of the Enlightenment's axioms. And so if we don't have something to replace it with, then we are partially at least culpable for its current success. So there's essentially that has to be reconciled. And
I think you're right, because when I listened to the "How Dare You" speech from Greta, it reminded me of a priest that I used to go when I was a kid. My grandmother would take me to him, and it's like, "How dare you come with sins into your hearts in my church?" And I was like, "Well, shit,
fuck, man! I don't know how else I can get in the church."
Yeah, there was like this guy who was the village drunk, and he came to church smelling of alcohol, and it's like, "How dare you come with sin into your heart in my church?" Like, oh, shit. That's like Greta is like that mini preacher.
Yeah, but you're about to give me wine. What do you mean sin? Like, anyway, but the point being that the desire for religiosity never really goes away. I think it's probably something that's in these in a percentage of the population.
Well, it's not just religiosity. Like, patriotism is being brought down, and there's a lot of people that want to have some sort of order. They want to rally behind the flag. They want, something of hierarchy in their life, which is why a lot of people go to Islam, or they go to gangs, or they go to social justice.
Yep, totally agree. Security, belonging, all of these sort of feelings that people naturally have. They need them.
They used to go to church for that, and they used to gather and salute the flag at a sports event.
See, I went to, just to interrupt. Sorry, I went to Italy, Pompeii, with my wife recently, and there's a church in Pompeii, obviously Catholic church, and we went in to watch one of the services, and there's no denying that there was a strong sense of community there, and a strong sense of inclusion from the people who were present. There's no denying that was there, and there is an appeal to that. Obviously, that's not saying I want theocracy.
The video I'm making right now is about the German church, and apparently they gather donations to buy a boat that they're going to use to save refugees, while at the same time trying to pressure the European Union to force other nations to take refugees in. And because of that, there's more and more Germans that are leaving Christianity. They're just saying, "Nope, I'm not going to donate to church anymore. I'm still believing in God, but I think there's a separation between the God and his institution," and blah, blah, blah.
Well, there we go. But yeah, all of the sort of community organizing that they're doing now in the left was usually done by the church. And the New Atheists didn't give us a replacement for it. And so I think I'm not placing blame.
They gave you Islam.
No, they didn't. But it's still a problem.
Man, go to any atheist Facebook, right page
Well, yeah,
and
okay.
talk against Islam, not against Muslims, right? No, the ideology of Islam.
I know.
Immediately you're going to be like, but what about my Christianity? But my Christianity is worse. My Christianity.
I know, and it's like, no, dude, Christianity is obviously not worse. I don't think Hitchens would have argued that Christianity is worse than Islam. In fact, I could probably find footage of him saying it's not. You know, it's obvious that Islam is the worst of the Abrahamic religions when it comes to tyranny.
I mean, Christianity is the one that brought you secularism. If you think about it,
Yeah,
Christian nations are secular. Non-Christian nations are usually theocratical.
Yep.
Except China, I think.
Yeah.
Which, well.
Anyway, so it's not necessarily that the 90s dream of egalitarianism sort of led to this, but it was a step along the way, but not an inevitable one, is my opinion. Anyway, so do a top Trump stream of leftist activists. I tell you what, I will recommend that to Academic Agent, because that is a fantastic idea. As an unwilling Gen X cat lady, feminists are definitely cultists. I knew this 20 years ago. Yeah, like most normal women who obviously don't hate men, look at feminists and think, no thanks. It's great. I lived vicariously through EFAP until I escaped Cali. Good man. Ralph is doing good on D Live, 1,000 viewers a stream. Good. I'm glad to hear that, man.
Good.
You know, I really mean it, because I don't hate Ralph or anything. I didn't want him to get yeeted off of everything. You know.
Well, it's actually a good thing that there might be a place for refugees once the YouTube crackdowns start coming.
Yeah, basically, because we're going to need it at some point, aren't we?
Did they take away your check mark?
No, because they reversed it, didn't they? They were like, oh, actually,
I don't know. I saw they took away Quarterling's check mark, and he was upset.
Well, they were going to take away everyone's, but everyone's got restored, didn't they? But I mean, why wouldn't he be upset? YouTube just doing the most backwards things, though. It's like, how can we hurt our?
Well, yeah, but imagine like in a couple of months, only verified people get the ad revenue. And Stargard will be laughing. He will be like, ah, ha, ha,
Man,
how can you punish the one who doesn't have ad revenue?
Imagine getting ad revenue. It's such a pain in the ass to get it, verified or not.
God, I miss the days of ad revenue. See, this is why I do streams.
Well, you had to pop the N-word hard R.
No, it wasn't that. It was. I had to continue pushing the boundaries and provoke Jess Phillips. I don't regret it, and I thank everyone for super chatting me. So we've A, got topics to talk about, and B, you keep me in a house. Thank you very much, everyone. Google VWS map and check images. They've made a compass map of countries' values. Oh, really? That's very interesting.
By the way, if Nigeria and Germany would play soccer, what would the scoreboard say?
Is this the thing I was talking about ages ago that I've missed? Sorry, I'm just having a quick look at this. Yeah, notice how the English-speaking world is separate from Germany on this values map. I fucking knew it!
What about France?
What about France?
Why didn't you win the 100 years old?
They're on the Catholic Europe.
Why didn't you win the 100 Years War?
Well, you know, the definition of winning, isn't it? I mean, when Henry V,
by annexing the continent,
yeah, but when Henry V is then the in line to the throne of the Kingdom of France and dies before he can inherit it, that's why.
Just send your army there as peacekeepers and have a puppet government.
Yeah, it wasn't that easy.
Well, all I hear is excuses.
Well, no one had
just think how many things could have been avoided. Have the British held France?
Well, possibly, but no one had a national army. And to be fair, we did occupy more of France than the French held for large portions of the war. So,
and you should have culturally indoctrinated them better.
It spanned over like 3 generations. Like and they're on home turf as well. So, anyway.
Man, just look at the French justice system and tell me it doesn't need a little bit of Britishness in it.
It's the total antithesis of the British justice system.
I know, which is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's awful. I don't know why anyone would accept it. I would revolt against it. But thank you for that VWS map, man. That's such a useful thing. Thank you so much. That honestly, that is genuinely so useful. most women are not feminists in the same way Antifa is not fascist. Wait. No, I don't agree. Most women are not feminists, not in the same way that Antifa is not fascist. Have I heard of... Oh, sorry, go on.
What I noticed about Antifa, right? Like they will constantly correct you if you call Antifa fascist. Like, oh, it's Antifa, it's in the name.
Yeah, but the National Socialists weren't socialists, you shits. Shut up, you communist fucking fascist.
No. They also say it's like, oh, anti-SJWs are the real SJWs.
Yeah, you got us, guys. You got us. That's what it was the whole time. Fucking idiots. Oh my god, I'm going to ban this guy. Gotta say that the Sargon Senpai pillow is amazing, my dude. Don't knock it till you try it. I will literally disavow. Have I heard of Dr. Judith Curry? I'd also recommend Kirk Sorensen's TED Talk on nuclear energy. Both would be fantastic to interview.
Did you buy a Sargon Senpai pillow?
No. And neither should anyone else.
No, you should give it to your wife so that when you're streaming later.
That's such a good idea for a birthday present, actually.
I know. Why do I have to come up with the wisdom?
Honey, you were always worried about how I can't spend time with you. Well, now.
Oh my god, okay, brilliant. Okay, well done, V. That's actually a genius.
See, I already anticipated the whining.
No, that's a brilliant troll. Thank you so much. I'm gonna remember to do that. Callum, remind me to do that. The reason so many men are virgins at 30 now is because of feminist mothers making them scared of women and the power women wield. I don't think it's feminist mothers. I think it's feminist activists. Most feminist activists aren't mothers. They are veteran abortees or aborteurs, but they're not mothers. I think a lot of mothers are kind of stuck in a system that they didn't choose now because of them.
Well, and when they're mothers, they come up with their kids as by gender, by something.
Well, most women don't, and most feminists don't either, probably. It's just a way to get more students in state schools, and it controls them and gives their ideas. Yeah, that's the thing. Labour assume that they're going to be controlling the state schools, and therefore will be indoctrinating them. If the Conservative Party were actually worth anything, they'd probably agree to everything Labour wants, and then just win the elections because Labour's cancerous. Do it, and then indoctrinate them with the ideas of liberty, which would be better.
Well, there was this article in the British press about some actress that was running a school without a license. Oh, she was teaching her kids and a couple of friends, and she didn't have a license.
Yeah, teaching people without a license is definitely haram.
I bet she had spoons in that school.
Less concerned with climate change killing billions than the extremely close asteroid flyby due to take place on 2029. Honestly, giant asteroid 2029. I vote for it. Just put us all out of our fucking misery. Have they not seen the way things have gone? This was clearly a mistake, and we need a reset.
If there was an asteroid that was going to hit Earth, the left would say that if you vote for them, they will make it go away. And once you vote for them, they will not do anything about the asteroid, but
they will raise your taxes, though. Yeah,
they will raise your taxes and take away your liberties. Yeah. And in the unlikely event the asteroid doesn't hit the Earth, they will just hide all knowledge about it and just continue fear-mongering about the asteroid.
Yeah, the asteroid's just doing a flyby. It'll circle around in a minute. Do you know about the Illuminati card game? On my new Meme Dear channel, I streamed a game of the Illuminati card game. It's very fun, actually. It's really interesting because you start as like an Illuminati faction, and you take over groups that are the cards, and then you use the groups to earn money and take over other factions. It's actually a really good card.
It's such a cool game. We need to play that.
Oh, it's really good. I don't know if there's a digital version, but there really should be because it's awesome. Nice to meet you at Minds IRL. Thanks, Timothy. Just wish there was more time to talk besides books. You'd suggested Harold Lamb. What was the second book? Shit. I don't know off the top of my head, man. Sorry. Harold Lamb's excellent, though. Just really good historian. Assuming Parliament keeps kicking the can down the road as much politically possible, when will the next general election be? Well, that's the question, isn't it? It's assumed that there'll be one after Brexit in November. But nobody knows.
After Brexit.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows. But fingers crossed, because if Boris does get Brexit on the 31st of October, and then, like, you know, the next day calls a general election, the Tories are going to storm it.
But I'm curious, like, let's say they have a deal with the European Union. What's to stop the new people elected from just revoking that deal?
Because theoretically, they'll be the Conservatives who are Brexiteers.
Yeah, but like, let's say Farage has, you know, like, let's revoke the deal party, and he wins majority of seats.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess they could revoke it. I don't know. We're in uncharted territory at this point, man. Who knows? Like,
yeah, like, you know, like, if you tell the European Union to fuck off, how are they going to enforce their deals? Like, what exactly? They don't have an army.
Their new European army, mate. That's how.
Yeah, with British money. So if you don't pay them,
well, I don't think we should pay them. So yeah, I agree with you completely.
Can you imagine, like, how much historians are going to laugh at you if you actually pay them for an army that they're going to use against you?
Well, it's probably not going to be the first time. The Athenians did something similar to the rest of the Delian League.
All right, so it's been 2,000 years since the epitome of human stupidity.
Well, like, every occupied people pay money to the occupiers, and then the occupiers...
Yeah, but it's a different thing when you're like a sovereign nation and you're literally just willingly paying money to another nation to attack you.
Yeah, I know, it's insufferable, isn't
it? Like, the occupied people don't have a choice, you guys do, theoretically.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's really insufferable. Just visited that gypsy's country last week. Did you meet him? My childhood is gone. How dare you, Sargon? How dare you, V? Disgusting, disgusting. So, Sargon, will you be wearing the green armband when Greta begins a rousing chorus that tomorrow belongs to me?
Man, I wanna make a clip, you know, a meme with Captain Planet. It's like, Gaia, the spirit of the Earth, can no longer handle the destruction of the planet, and just replace her face with Greta.
Well, look, all I'm saying is, if it comes down to a climate dictatorship, what's the point in dying a martyr? Yeah, no one can answer that.
Man, like, you know what's really chilly? If you look at a lot of leftists comparing Greta with other martyrs like Joanna d'Arc and Anne Frank, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Do you want her to die for the cause?
Yeah, I'd noticed that they've been doing that a lot, and it's like, guys, come on, that's a bit early for that. We haven't got to that point yet. Yeah, I had
at least Joanna d'Arc was burned for heresy. People had common sense back then.
Not really.
Didn't she got burned for heresy?
Technically, but she got burned for being a French revolutionary against the English.
So what's the difference?
The difference is the allegations of heresy were clearly made up to get rid of her.
No, but I've been being a French revolutionary against the British. Like, isn't that heresy?
Well, no, it's not religious heresy.
I'm joking.
Oh, well, it's like, well, yeah, okay, fine. But yeah, so... Yes, I probably will have a green armband, but I won't sing the songs, I'll just mouth them.
Man, if they come up with the green armbands, that would be so cool. Like, honestly, you know, if I were like the owner of the Daily Stormer or something, I would generally troll these people by, you know, arriving there with like green swastikas and stuff.
I'm amazed that the Daily Stormer doesn't support the worldwide eco-fascist dictatorship that Greta's leading. I'm amazed they don't, and I would love to see them start doing that. That'd be hilarious. In the same way,
I mean, Hitler was an environmentalist and a vegan.
Yes, he was, but not only that. Like, unironically, they're saying rescind democracy, create a world order. You know, a one world order.
Hitler didn't like democracy.
No, and he liked the idea of ruling the world. So, you know, there's a lot of parallels here. Avi Yemeni in Twitter jail for criticizing Greta. Oh, what a fucking surprise! You know, I bet he said something that was pertinent, and that was enough.
Well, that's the whole thing. You know, if it was anyone else than Greta, if it wasn't a child, you wouldn't get into the gulag for criticizing them?
Sorry, say again.
If it wasn't a child, you wouldn't get in the Twitter gulag for criticizing them?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, AOC is basically the same as Greta.
Oh, yeah. Like, remember with Mini AOC, how she was hounded on Twitter and no one went to the gulag?
Yeah.
I want Mini AOC back. She was cool.
Yeah, she got doxxed and harassed and gulagged.
Well, you know, it's fine to harass children if they're not part of your ideology.
Well, the Covington scandal taught us that.
Yeah, as long as they're not backed by multi-billion-dollar corporations, it's fine.
If it taught us nothing else, it's okay to attack kids when they're not on your side. Communist kids camps are a thing, probably. Islam is right about women. So if I tell my kids' school that I'm taking them on 2-week climate protest in Spain in term time, will I avoid being fined? Okay, so for foreigners, if you take your kids out of school during term time, you get fined because we're not a free country.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
But what about the one question? Is Islam right about gays, Sargon?
Well, I actually don't think so.
You don't? Oh, you're such an Islamophobe, man.
I know, but I've
Didn't you know Muhammad was a huge supporter of LGBTQ?
Yeah, I have heard that from people who know nothing about Islam, that he was very progressive in his own way. But like I said, they literally know nothing about Islam, and they think
you actually have in Britain 2 gay people arrested for saying Islam is LGBT and they were kissing.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Islam is gay, and I was like, no.
Well, like Islam is supporting gay people, or Allah is supporting gay people. I can look up the article if you want.
That sounds haram. Yeah, if you don't mind, man, that'd be great. What is it with Germans/Nords screaming about the need for tyranny for the greater good? Loved your video about the Germans. I'm with you and V on the German question. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of Germans who follow me, and they know they know that I'm being serious. They know I'm right. We Germans are like that. All we have to do is to end Greta as accuser of racism. But racism against who? It's got to be a plausible allegation of racism. Maybe we could line up as being anti-Semitic. I don't know. There's got to be something.
Here we go. I found it. They even called the guy far right for saying Allah is gay.
Ah, yes, right. This was another thing. Sorry, say it again.
Yeah, I found the article. I posted it. They called him far right activist who claim Allah is gay gets lifetime ban from coming to the UK.
Fucking hell! Why are we preserving the sanctity of Islam?
Yes.
I don't know why we're doing it. I wish we were.
You don't want to have blasphemers in your midst, do you?
Well, I'm okay with blasphemy. I'm fine with
clearly
it.
the British government is not.
Yeah. But this was another thing that happened at the Labour conference that I saw. Michael Mansfield at the Labour conference, an MP, Labour MP, said meat should be illegal.
But I'm made of meat.
Yeah, right. But not only that, isn't that going to be Islamophobic as well? I mean, what are they going to do about halal meat? They're not going to ban it, are they? Seems like they're persecuting the poor Muslims.
You know what I like about Islam? Their opinions about this.
About what?
I posted it.
Wow.
Islam and myself seem to have similar opinion about the.
What is it? Tell me, because I'm not looking at the Discord.
Look in Discord.
I can't.
Well.
You have to describe it.
Rags, maybe you can describe it.
This is in Symposium?
Yes.
Is this your public library normal?
No, like look at the
library is normal.
Look at the video.
Oh, fuck's sake, now I've got to look at it. Oh, it's the drag story time stuff.
For kids, yeah.
Yeah, for kids, yeah, obviously. I mean, there's no point trying to indoctrinate adults. They're gonna be like, "This is degeneracy."
I don't even know how I would describe it. How do I make it stop? There you go. You click it. Oh man, that's rough. It's just like
but it seems that me and Islam are on the same page.
It's a man in a pink dress with makeup on and his hair all did, and he's screaming and yelling on all fours as children laugh at him.
The far right activist you were talking about is Lauren Southern.
I never actually clicked the article. I just looked at the picture. I just looked at the title, but
it's a picture of her.
Okay, well, she thinks that Allah is gay and she's not allowed to come into the United Kingdom.
Yeah, she went to like Luton or something and was handing out quote unquote racist leaflets, which sounds really homophobic to me. But what do I know? Yeah, and that's why she's not allowed in the UK. So careful, kids. Don't try and make Allah progressive.
Yeah, Allah is not pro-pride worldwide.
No, he's very anti-pride. I hate to break it to the gay community. Although I've got a video coming on the ACAD Daily channel about this.
What is the antonym of pride? The opposing.
The anthem
Shame.
of pride. Oh, the antonym. Yeah, shame.
Yeah. So Allah is for shame worldwide. I get it.
Shaming gays worldwide.
Shaming gays worldwide.
Honestly, Allah is just, he's not, he needs to really get himself back into the 20th century, 21st century even.
Do you think Allah is for gender pronouns?
No.
I don't know, like it was never discussed in the Quran?
Exactly, therefore the answer is no.
So you're saying everything is not permissible is a sin?
I'm saying
what part
God
of Islam is the be-all, end-all, and there will be no additions to it?
I'm
it's
saying
everything.
that he created them male and female in a partnership with one another, which is what the Quran says about men and women, and that's going to be the end of the story, isn't it? Let's be honest.
So you're saying he created Adam and Eve, not Adam?
Well, that's what the woman in the burqa was yelling at the gay pride parade.
Really? Oh,
Didn't you see it?
no.
Oh, dude, unironically, video of a woman in a burqa yelling, "It's you should be ashamed, you should be ashamed." So yes, shame worldwide, just so you know. No, unironically, this is what she was saying. And then she was yelling, "It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve." And I'm just like, man, that is
Such a boomer.
Yeah, that was it. That was exactly what everyone was saying. It's like, God, she's a boomer. Like, worse, she's also a letterbox, but she is still a boomer.
I wouldn't say that, Sargon. I wouldn't say that. Like, you're going to get Boris soon.
No, but Boris still hasn't backed down on this, so until he backs down, I think we're safe. Like, letterboxes rise up. I actually have that on a shirt in my store.
I prefer the beekeeper or the South Park meme where they say they're ninjas.
No, letterboxes is funnier.
There should be ninja swords. Like, if you're going to wear a sword, like,
hang on. I'm not finished telling you what happened here, right? Because it gets better. Because she's yelling this at these the gay activists and the pride people, and then they're walking off, and she's yelling it, and they just turn around and go, "That's what the fascists say." You know, that's the sort of thing the fascists say about you, and it's like, whoa. That's okay. What did you just say there, buddy? You know, the Islamist is saying the sort of thing the fascists say. Wow, really big think there.
Galaxy brain observation.
Yeah.
If you Google Nazi salute Middle East, you will find like a lot of Syrian rebels doing it. You'll find Iran people doing it. Like, it's not.
Yeah, but that's because they really hate Israel, isn't it?
No, it's because of the ties that Hitler had with the Muslim Brotherhood, and then the influences the Muslim Brotherhood had upon these cultures. So,
Ein Volk, ein Reich, ein Euro. That's
Coca-Cola, getrunken this.
Unironically, the EU's new slogan, though.
Let me show you the Coca-Cola Nazi commercial. It's legit, historically accurate.
Oh God, people have sent loads more super chats, and I have to go through them. Stop, please stop, because it's like nearly 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh no!
Money. Oh right, okay. So look, I normally I'm not complaining about money. Obviously, I'm complaining that I'm really tired because I got woken up early this morning. Because normally I don't get up before midday, because normally I'm up till like 3 in the morning. Right, I'm a night worker. It's fine. But today I got woken up really early because for some reason, after me saying no repeatedly over the course of probably about 6 months, my wife decided to come home with another kitten.
Oh no!
Yeah, no. And the thing is, what can I do? Like, there's nothing.
Raise the kitten.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you need to
exactly.
buy another
That's
cat
all
because if they're sick cats, they keep themselves occupied.
Well, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't. I mean, I can't make her take it back, and I can't like kick the thing out, and so I'm just like, I'd been up quite late last night, obviously, and so she wakes me up at like 9 o'clock in the morning with this fucking kitten. I'm like, how did you get a kitten at 9 in the morning?
It sounds like Sargon needs Islam.
Why not donate the cat?
Yes, that's
why
exactly
not
what
donate
I was
the cat,
thinking.
Sargon? If you don't want it, why not donate it?
Donate to where?
Well, I'm pretty sure on your channel it's like, hey, does anyone want a kitten? I have too
Donate
many.
it to the dumpster.
Yeah, but she'd obviously got it after she'd taken the kids.
It's
to
a cat.
school.
It's not a dog. You can do whatever. It's a fucking cat. You can do whatever you want with it. It doesn't fucking matter.
Sounds
Look
like
at the
anti-cat prejudice to me, Alex. But no, but the thing is, like, if she'd got it, like, if the kids hadn't seen it, maybe I would have been able to, like, you know, hand it off or something. But the kids have seen it, and so like I can't get rid of it. They'll be heartbroken. So now I'm just stuck with another cat, and I'm just thinking, man, there was a reason that we had patriarchies. I'm just saying.
How many cats do you have?
4 now. I didn't want 1. So
Do you have 2 dogs?
Yeah, we've got 2 dogs, and 2 guinea pigs.
Jesus.
Do you want to know something, right? I think the guinea pigs are pregnant as well, right? They're both female. It's like Jurassic Park. Life has found a way. Right? I don't know, but like we're not sure.
Petting zoo of a cod.
Dude, their bellies are massive, and they're both massive, and it's like, but they're not, you know.
Okay, Sargon, I hate to break it to you, but sometimes women get fat.
No. The guinea pigs eat nothing but salad, so you know they can't get that fat. But we've had them for like 2 years. You know, we know that you know we know how much to feed them. That you know it's not something unusual. The guinea pigs. What's unusual is suddenly like we went to America for 3 weeks, so we had to put them in like you know some guinea pig home you know thing, and obviously they've put them in with male guinea pigs, and so the guinea pigs have both got pregnant. And so now we've got these 2 pregnant guinea pigs.
Well, I mean, if things go worse, why not just take the guinea pigs to Planned Parenthood?
Well, I don't really like the idea of doing that. But the thing is, we've got like literally a fucking menagerie in my house now. And I'm like, okay, fuck's sake. And so
You
now
know,
I have
why
to
don't you
walk
have?
dogs.
You should just have another human kid to help you take care of them.
Yeah, right. That's the last thing I need right now. We've got more than enough on my plate. But I mean,
$10,000 to the guy who manages to get into contact with Carl's kids so that he can poke a hole in the condom with with a needle.
What?
We'll say half
Condoms are not any Islamic.
That would be a very good April Fool's joke.
Get in contact with my kids.
Yeah, so he can poke with a needle a hole in your condom.
Don't encourage people to try and get in contact with my kids, man. But I don't use condoms. My wife's got an implant, so
Too much info, man.
well, you just don't fucking bring it up then. So we can solve the Greta problem easily. I hear she has evidence of Hillary Clinton's criminal activity, visits to Epstein's Island, and comic pizza. I heard the same thing too, in fact. The US Federal Reserve is pumping $75 billion a day into the banks for the next 2 weeks. $350 million last week. The banks have no money, apparently. I think
it's because of Deutsche Bank going to go boom soon.
Oh, really? What about that fabulous, legendary German economy that they were banking on?
When you want too much welfare, it's eventually going to topple down.
Yeah, when you're supporting like welfare all across Europe, I suppose eventually it's going to come crashing down. We warned you that the EU is unstable.
Oh, and now Britain is leaving the EU.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big thing.
Do you know how lucky you'll be that you didn't adopt the euro?
Oh, I already know we're tremendously lucky about it. Like it was very. I mean, I don't want to say alarmist because that makes it sound like it wasn't true. But when in the 90s, when the euro was being brought in, I can't remember the name of the lord. I researched this for a video a while ago. But basically, he came back babbling like a madman that it was a German plot to take over Europe, and lo and behold, the Germans are the ones in control of Europe. So he wasn't wrong. The Amish is the answer.
Saying people didn't like another government body to dictate your economy.
Well, it's not just that. It's the way the euro's structured. It's going to benefit the Germans, and everyone was like, that does sound bad, and so we didn't adopt it.
Sorry, I just saw an article, and I think it gave me cancer. PlayStation 5 will be better for the environment. Guess I'm buying an Xbox then.
Yeah, good news.
They'll sell less?
I don't know, I still have liberty, and I just want to pull as possible. So if it's good for the environment, I'm just going to have to say pass.
The Amish are the cure to climate change. Technically true, but I don't want to live that way.
Oh my God! Yes, you can actually if the Amish had any common sense, they would go to the UN and say how much are we polluting?
Well, with the way the birth rates are going, eventually we're all going to be Amish because we'll have all died out, but they won't. So,
no. PS5 will use less power when it goes into sleep mode, so it's not going to be better for the environment. It's going to be better for my wallet. So.
Oh, so suddenly now it sounds like a good idea.
So during the time it's in sleep mode, it uses less power. Consider the Earth saved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Climate change over. This PS5 won't use as much power when it's on sleep. Thanks, Mal Roadkill. Please do a meme, Greta pointing at things. I don't want to because she's just a kid, Rolling Coal.
Man, like at what point can you become such a public figure that it's okay?
When she reaches 18, like with David Hogg.
Oh, really? So if you make David Hogg videos,
age of consent applies to memes.
Probably. Probably play it safe, right? Rolling Coal only works on diesels. Tell V he has too many gosh darn ads on his vids. That's true, V.
Too many ads on your vids, V.
No, I'll show you the video from the Young Turks with Rolling Coal. You're going to laugh your ass.
But
nice segue.
I'm criticizing you for being monetized when I'm not. Fuck you. No, seriously though, V, your vids have been really good recently.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Except that I don't know how I'm doing. YouTube took away the subscriber count, so.
Oh, I know, it's fucking insufferable.
I legitimately do not know if people enjoy my video. No.
Like, I don't know what the hell, like, this whole de-verifying thing, the sub count thing, why? Why would you do
I know
that,
why.
Right?
I know why. It's for people like Janelle, which is doing exactly what I said that she's doing. She's already showing 10 products.
Oh, is she? Oh, well,
yeah. It's like, think about it. Like, from a business standpoint, it makes absolute sense. Like, YouTube makes these people pretend to be famous so that then companies pay money to put ads on them, and these people are 100% safe. Like, they're not going to do a PewDiePie and say the hard R.
Yep.
So you have like manufactured people that are saying the correct things and are seeming to be very popular, and then you can ask money from companies in order to push your products.
Well, that's true. I mean, PewDiePie is not controlled by them, which is something they hate, obviously.
I mean, he blasphemed against the ADL recently.
Yes. I'll tell you what, it would have been the funniest thing in the world if he'd donated it to Trump's wall fund or something like that insteed. Like, imagine if PewDiePie gets 50 grand.
It's like, PewDiePie, they already hate you.
Yeah, you may as well enjoy it.
I think YouTube will screw with him. Yeah, I think YouTube will screw with him royally if he donates to Trump.
Oh, come on.
Anywhere he goes.
But imagine what Trump will say. Imagine what Trump will do.
They're not going to ban him, but they're going to make the algorithm just fuck him in the ass like no tomorrow.
Yeah, but he's got 100 million fucking subscribers, man. I think
now, but no, seriously, like, they will just make subscribers disappear. They will make him seem irrelevant if he does that.
I tell you what,
there's too many people where if they make him seem irrelevant, too many brows are going to get raised.
Yeah, I think he's too visual because I mean, like, too many of my personal friends have come to me and said, "Mate, YouTube has unsubscribed to me from your channel," and like they've sent me screenshots, and like. Actually, because when you see it in the comments, you can't verify it,
Oh, it's unsubscribed me from your channel.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, like 3 times I got unsubscribed from your channel. And I watch your videos quite often. Not religiously, by the way, but I do watch them. And thanks, I noticed that several times. It's like, I'm unsubscribed from Sargon.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's like, they must be doing this on purpose.
Yeah, there's people who are subscribed to Janelle, or people who look into their video watch history, and it's like, oh, I watched the Janelle video, what? And they go on Reddit and they talk about it.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It's so shady, man. I really wish there was an alternative to YouTube. A proper, like, fully functional.
It's capitalism, man. Like, there is a market for popularity, and there's people willing to pay big bucks to YouTube to make them seem popular. Like, look at the Gillette ad. They had the clip with a black rapper spanking the ass of a white girl while money was falling down. And Gillette removed that without having to take down the video. And they even changed their text and messages there. Blizzard, with their Diablo on mobile, apparently was given downvotes taken away from them.
Well, I had downvotes taken away.
Yeah, like they will manipulate this. The video from, the movie from Disney with Captain Marvel, YouTube changed its entire algorithm.
The name of the movie is Captain Marvel.
Yeah, they changed their entire algorithm in order to push authoritative sources so that you'd get like a video promoting the movie with 10,000 views, and things from Quarter Pounder were like getting 500,000 views, and they were like on page 2 or 3 of the search engine.
Yeah. It's obvious it's being manipulated, man. I tell you, this really is demoralizing to be facing a system that is actually stacked against you on purpose because they just don't like what you're posting. And it's like, well, you don't have to.
I don't know if they don't like it. It's you're not making them money. That's the.
Well, we were.
No one.
Like, everyone was making loads of fucking money.
No. Like, Disney is making the money. So if Disney says, "Can you make our movie seem popular?" they will do it. Like, they don't want people who are culture critics to shit talk Disney's movie. So they're going to promote the, people like Janelle, which is going to have only great things to say about any product that she's promoting. And people like you who might have criticism are just going to be shuffled down in the algorithm.
The Brits were just an airfield for the US during World War II. Well, that's not true. I mean, 1940 were the only people standing against the Germans. So how about you sit down and join the war right as we're about to win, okay? I'm joking. We weren't about to win in 1940. Potholer 54 is absolutely fantastic and in favour of innovation over government control. He savaged Crowder. Oh, that's good.
What does Potholer say about Greta?
I don't know.
I need to check.
I don't care about any of this climate stuff. But I do care about the political stuff surrounding it. Spiffing Brit easily broke Divinity 2 economy by becoming a tea-growing baron in the early game. It's a great video.
Yeah, I saw that.
Watch.
Oh, he's attacking Greta.
Surely,
is he?
I think Larian knew that it would break the game, but it's just a little fun. That's why if you enable stuff like that, you disable achievements.
What? He has a video called "The World Isn't Ending in 12 Years" and shows AOC.
Excellent. There is an interview that discusses an Irish study verifying that global warming is not happening as a result of CO2 emissions and a greenhouse effect. I tried to link you on Telegram. I found it fascinating. I thought you might as well. Thanks, Pink. I kind of doubt the Turks sold them. The Byzantines, Armenians, Crusaders retained control of the entire Anatolian coast, aside from the town of Attila at the time of the Children's Crusade. Yeah, but I think they sailed to North Africa. I'll have to look it up. I'm sure they found passage via people who are deeply irresponsible. Now, if you think about it, Greta Nuremberg, Jesus. Two of my favorite foreigners, love from Texas. Thanks very much. Greta reminds me of those cat clocks where the eyes move back and forth. Someone should do a clock like that with Greta and her arm flailing about, pointing at things.
There is something chilling watching her grimaces.
For me, it just feels like a play. It feels like it's fake.
Why? Because her dad is an actor and her father is a director? Her dad is an actor and her grandfather is a director?
I see you watched my video on it. But basically, yes. That's exactly the reason. It just all feels like a giant fraud, and I don't believe it. I just think it's bullshit. Did you know about the Illuminati card game? It predicted 9/11 and the NSA already in the 90s.
Oh boy.
I don't think that it did actually predict 9/11. It just had the World Trade Center on a card with catastrophe.
It probably like biblical predictions where it's very vague.
Well, no. It's not that. It's not that. It's these are things that are like likely to be tragedies, likely to be like is it likely that the government's spying on us all? Well, Orwell thought so. He didn't predict the NSA, it's that kind of thing.
Well, a lot of people forget that there was another terrorist attack on 9/11 that was prevented, so a lot of people know about it and they imagine like what if it would have been successful. So a lot of these predictions for 9/11 aren't really predictions. It's just like people notice the previous attack and they're like, well, what if in the future they actually managed to succeed?
Yeah. But it's not so. I mean, like, terrorist attacks weren't new.
No, and it's like, let's say someone destroys the Statue of Liberty, then you'll say, oh, look, it was predicted by so many movies and so many people. It's like, no,
exactly.
It's like a target. It's a symbol of Americanism, so.
Yeah, there's every reason these people would be trying to attack it.
Yeah, like the Pentagon, the Twin Towers, Wall Street. Like, there's certain places where you could definitely see that they might be targeted.
Yeah. Curtis Kruger, thank you very much. Is Brexit just a way for the English to go back to fighting the French? If so, I'm in. And the Germans, I imagine. But yes. Hey, Sargon, can you further explain why you don't think students should speak up against the nutty left professors? Been doing it 3 years and I'm okay. Well, honestly, it's because I don't want you to risk your studies. I don't want you to risk your money and your career. I don't want to be responsible for martyrs in that regard.
So you're not a leftist?
Well, no, I just don't want to be the person who's encouraged people to fuck their lives up.
Yeah, if you're a leftist, you would have no problem with that.
Well, I'm not a leftist then. But yeah, no, I don't want you to fuck yourself up. Basically, is what I'm saying. Good evening, Soyfather and Co. How goes it? Pretty good, Calamati. I'm glad you've changed your profile picture. Let me have a look at what it is now. This is going to be even worse, isn't it? Oh no, it's from the thick of it, is it? I think it's the thick of it. But yeah, loving your ball bag series. I haven't actually watched the Joe Swinson one yet because I haven't had time. But my God, that fucking cover picture is horrific. I don't know where you got it. It's disgusting. But we'll talk another time, man. When you remove God and the faithful will only be left to follow the devil. The faithful need something to have faith in, as it is a stage of evolution. And Sargon channeling the distributist. I don't recall the distributist saying it, but I think it's a fairly sound, logical conclusion that you come to. And so I'm not surprised he's come to it as well. Yeah, basically, someone needs to... People need a cause. They need something. There's no questioning it. They wouldn't be all over the place being insufferable if they didn't.
Equality is the cause.
Here's $5. Get V to tell us a Yakov Smirnoff joke for our amusement. Do you know any?
Yakov's jokes? No.
Yakov Smirnov?
Yeah.
Nope.
You don't?
It's not a Romanian thing, is it?
I saw him once in Branson. Yeah.
And?
He's funny guy. He's like a American comedian who came over here from the USSR, and he's like one of these super pro America guys.
Right.
But saw him live in Branson one time. Really funny.
Very cool. Apophis
he's like,
2029.
Hey, he's like, Yakov, how if you're elected president, how are you going to lower the cost of fuel? And they'll be like, sell it in courts. You know, it's that sort of thing. So
yeah. I'd enjoy it, yeah.
You would.
V and Sargon, what would you all say to making laws that say people cannot run for office unless they have children or something similar? I'm not against it. now that we've seen the result of childless fucking do-gooders, yeah, you know, I think having it's not that we should have laws against it, obviously, but people should really think about it. Because, I mean, like a generation ago, it would have been unfathomable to have been a prime minister or a president without having kids and being married, because it shows you have an investment in the same society that everyone else has. And if you leave that, if you drop that, then you look like you could be doing anything stupid, doesn't it? This girl protests so much she's basically French and she doesn't represent my generation. I'm busy right now, but take my Yankee money and have a good day. Oh, thank you. Richard I is to blame for losing the 100 Years' War, even though he predates it by a century. Just look at the borders. He wasted the treasury on crusading. Ooh, let me think. I don't know. He did quite a lot of subjugating France. I mean, that's how he died. So I don't know. I'll have to have a think about that. But, right. That's the last one, and it's now gone 1 o'clock. So I'm going to end the stream. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out with us, and hopefully the chatting has been entertaining enough.
Can I chill now?
You can indeed chill.
I'm going to start the stream about Rambo, Rags, if you want to join.
Ooh,
about Rambo? Oh, the movie?
Rambo.
I haven't seen it yet, and I plan on seeing it. So
okay. Well, anyone else that has seen it and wants to talk about the salt that the people that are authoritative critics have to say about it, join my live stream because we're going to talk about it.
Well, head on over to V Livestream and go and watch that, because I'm sure it'll be good. That's another thing, actually, V. Your live streams have been really good as well. Like,
just not making me blush.
I'm trying not to, but seriously, like, a lot of the time, if there's like an hour-long live stream, a lot of the time I won't watch it, because I know that, like, I don't have time to go through the whole thing, and there'll be, like, you know, bits where it's wasting time, but you don't do that in your live streams. You're actually really punctual and move from, like, segment to segment really swiftly and cohesively. And I'm just very impressed with the way you've been managing it.
Yeah, I try to keep them short, and if there's not enough news one day, I just cancel the live stream rather than just, get some money but have a very boring stream.
Yeah. But anyway, everyone head over to V's live stream right now, and I'll end the stream and speak to you all later. Take care, everyone.